Chapter 315. What? Hearing Jiang Yaru's voice, Feng Hetang and the others were all shocked. What was going on? This guy had only said a single sentence, so why did Jiang Yaru's attitude change so drastically? Very well, then come over here. Tonight, we can have some fun. LV Weihai revealed a strange smile. Oh, okay. Jiang Yaru's body was swaying, and she immediately wanted to walk over. Xiaoping immediately sensed that something was wrong. His spiritual force was stronger than ordinary people, so he immediately sensed that there was an evil spiritual force enveloping Jiang Yaru's body, causing her to fall into chaos. Without a doubt, this LV Weihai must have used some kind of evil secret technique to make Jiang Yaru like this. Woo! Without another word, Xiaoping immediately let out a roar. Heavenly Dragon's music. With a bang, a roar exploded in the air. It was like the roar of a lion king in the forest, and also like the rumbling of thousands of war drums on a battlefield, erupting with extremely terrifying sound waves. This sound contained the power of a secret technique and possessed terrifying destructive power. Like a wave, it condensed in the air and spread out in all directions. Instantly, LV Weihai was caught off guard and immediately let out a miserable scream. His body had been attacked by Xiaoping's sound waves and had suffered extremely terrifying damage. His entire body seemed to have suffered a backlash from a secret technique, and his body was sent flying. His lungs were heavily injured, and he directly flew more than 10 meters before finally falling to the ground. At this time, blood was flowing out of his eyes, nose, and mouth, and he looked extremely miserable. When LV Weihai was sent flying, Jiang Yaru also regained consciousness and stopped moving. However, her eyes were still a little blank, not knowing what had just happened. Damn it! What did you do to Brother Liu? You scoundrel, you actually dared to sneak attack. Do you want to die? The group of students behind him were all enraged and actually rushed up to attack Xiaoping. Their attacks were extremely ruthless. Courting death, Xiaoping slapped out with his palm, and all the true qi in his body surged. Like a giant bear, he emitted a terrifying aura. Myriad Beast Fist's third move, Bear-Splitting Claw. A giant bear claw appeared in midair, and true qi vibrated, containing unparalleled power. Like a flood, it bombarded the group of students. Bang, bang, bang. The group of students screamed as they were sent flying, coughing up blood in midair. Several of their ribs were broken, as if they were being trampled by a giant bear. They were not a match for him at all. Zhong Yuan and the others were shocked. Their pupils constricted. They did not expect Xiaoping to be so fierce. He was so arrogant that he would attack without saying a word. LV Weihai. Xiaoping glared at LV Weihai and clenched his fists. You actually dare to use your secret spirit technique to deal with others. How dare you? Believe it or not, I'll cripple you on the spot. He was infuriated. He never imagined that LV Weihai would be so arrogant. He actually dared to use a secret mental technique against Jiang Yaru in front of so many people. If he hadn't seen through it, perhaps Jiang Yaru really would have obediently left with him. Who knew what would happen after that? And the consequences would be unimaginable. Spirit occult technique. That's right, that girl looked absent-minded just now. Didn't she look like she was being controlled? It must be the LV family's king-level art. Hypnosis art. It said that the LV family relies on this hypnosis art to be successful in business. Their opponents often sign contracts that are disadvantageous to them without knowing anything. Who knows how much profit they've obtained by using these methods? Isn't it said that this kind of hypnosis art is strictly forbidden to be used on humans? If anyone violates it, they'll definitely be heavily punished. That's just saying. The LV family is a king-level clan. They're rich and powerful. Who can stop them? That's true. If they use it in secret, no one will be able to detect it. Many students were discussing among themselves. They quickly found out what method LV Weihai had used just now. He actually used the hypnosis art to deal with a girl. One could imagine how despicable such a method was. It was no wonder that Xiaoping was so angry. Damn it! Jiang Yaru finally recovered. His expression was ugly as he glared at LV Weihai. If it weren't for Xia Ping beside him, he would have already fallen for this bastard's trick. This hypnosis art was truly too frightening. It was a supreme secret technique that utilized mental strength. Martial artists with strong mental strength could still resist it, but martial artists with weak mental strength would be instantly subdued. They were simply not a match for it. Chu Rong and Nan Gong were also extremely angry. This LV Weihai was simply a scum. If he dared to do this to Jiang Yaru today, then wouldn't he do the same to them tomorrow? Looking at this guy's practice methods, it was likely that many women had fallen under his hands before. Damn, brat, you actually dare to sneak attack me? LV Weihai stood up and glared venomously at Xia Ping. In his entire life, he had never suffered such a big loss. It was all because of a single shout from Xia Ping that he had almost lost his mind. It had to be known that although the hypnosis art was a mental technique, it was extremely strange and powerful. If one wasn't careful, they could still injure themselves. So one had to be careful when using it. In the past 18 years, he had never met a human who could resist his hypnosis art. But now, because of a moment of carelessness, he had actually fallen for this brat's sneak attack. One could imagine just how angry he was right now. Sneak attack you? You think you have the qualifications to say such words after using such a sinister secret technique? For the sake of our fellow students at Yanwang University, I won't kill you. But you must immediately kneel down and apologize. Otherwise, I'll cripple you. Xia Ping said calmly, his tone filled with a monstrous killing intent. Kneel down and apologize? You think you have the qualifications to make me, a member of a king clan, kneel down and apologize? Who do you think you are? Do you have the face to do that? LV Weihai was so angry that he started laughing. His eyes shone with a frightening light, as if there was a chaotic aura swirling in the depths of his pupils, containing a mysterious power. Even if someone has to kneel, it should be you, you bastard. Kneel immediately. With a furious roar, a frightening mental pressure pressed down on Xia Ping's body. This pressure was over 10 times stronger than the one used on Jiang Yaru. It could be said that Xia Ping was serious. Immediately, Xia Ping felt as if his head had been struck by a hammer. Sparks flashed in his head, and his consciousness blurred. His body bent slightly, as if he was about to kneel before LV Weihai. Kneel! Anyone who dares to disobey me must die. No one is an exception. LV Weihai laughed coldly. Relying on this secret technique, he had always been successful. He could be said to be invincible amongst his peers. No one was a match for him. Chapter 316. Xia Ping, Jiang Yaru, Chu Rong, and Nan Gong Wu were shocked. They wanted to rush forward, but as soon as they got close, they felt their consciousness blur. This mental power covered an area. Anyone who dared to enter would be affected. They were very anxious. They knew that with Xia Ping's arrogant personality, if he was forced to kneel in front of so many people, it would be a humiliation that he would never be able to wash away. Big brother. Feng Atong was also very anxious, but he had no other choice but to shout, hoping that Xia Ping would wake up. It's over. Xia Ping is finished. The great hypnosis art is too terrifying. Those with weaker mental power can't resist it at all. It's practically invincible. If this kid was a fighter 7th layer, he might be able to resist it. But he's only a fighter 5th layer now. He's no match for LV Weihai. The dignified number 1 among the freshmen actually knelt before the 7th-ranked freshman. Xia Ping will probably become the laughingstock of the school. This is the consequence of being a fake. Without strength, he still wants to ascend to the throne. Isn't he courting death? Let's use this matter to let this kid know his own strength. Don't think that you can win everything by entering the back door. Without strength, you're just an ant. Many students were also sneering as they watched the show from the side. They believed that Xia Ping would definitely be humiliated this time, leaving behind an indelible humiliation in his life. Well done. To think that this bastard would also have such a day. Zhong Yuan was feeling very refreshed. He wanted to immediately raise his head and roar. He had been beaten so badly by Xia Ping that he almost lost all his face, but he couldn't do anything to him. But now, this kid had met LV Weihai. The other party was basically Xia Ping's nemesis. Although he didn't personally make a move, making this kid kneel in this place could be considered as a humiliation, allowing him to vent the anger in his heart. "Kneel, you bastard!" LV Weihai roared. His mental power was pushed to the maximum, and like a heavy hammer, it ruthlessly smashed on his Xia Ping's head. It could be said that this was his strongest attack. It contained the mental power of his entire life, and it was all for the sake of completely destroying Xia Ping's will. In serious cases, it was normal for Xia Ping to become an idiot. But this was the consequence of offending LV Weihai. Idiot. But at this moment, Xia Ping, who was still trembling and seemed to be about to kneel, suddenly revealed a strange smile. It seemed to contain a sense of ridicule and disdain. "Damn, I've been tricked." LV Weihai immediately came to a realization. How could he not know that Xia Ping was not affected by his bewitching technique at all? That action just now was just to numb him and make him careless. In fact, Xia Ping's mental strength was 10 times stronger than an ordinary martial artist's. When he was only in the martial disciple realm, he had opened the Baihui acupoint, which was not something an ordinary martial artist could compare with. Even if LV Weihai had extraordinary spiritual talent, he was still far from being comparable to Xia Ping. Using this move to deal with Xia Ping was simply a dream. Heavenly Dragon's 8 notes. Xia Ping opened his mouth and roared. He poured his mental power into it and let out a roar. To begin with, the Heavenly Dragon's music wasn't just a killing technique of sound. It contained a mental attack as well. With a single roar, it could even shatter one's soul, bringing with it a terrifying might. LV Weihai let out another miserable scream. It was 10 times more miserable than before. His entire body was sent flying by the sound wave, and he was immediately sent flying hundreds of meters. His internal organs were severely injured, and even his ears were bleeding. He fell to the ground and twitched. White foam flowed out of his mouth as he fell to the ground like an idiot. Now, LV Weihai was suffering from the backlash of his mental power. His brain was severely injured, and he was in a miserable state. If he wanted to treat him, he did not know how much it would cost. "What are you doing here? Don't you know that this is the airport? You can't stay here, and you can't fight here?" At this moment, a group of staff immediately noticed the situation and rushed over. They quickly noticed LV Weihai, who seemed to have turned into an idiot, and a pile of seriously injured students who had fallen to the ground. "What's going on? Who is committing murder here?" A staff member asked. A student who had fallen to the ground shouted, "It's him. It's that bastard Xia Ping. He relied on his strength to deliberately commit murder. Even Brother Liu was beaten into an idiot by him. Catch him. Catch this murderer immediately." That's right, that's right. Such an evil person is also a student of our Yanwang University. It's simply a disgrace. Hurry up and arrest him and lock him up for a few decades. He even dared to beat up Brother Liu like this. What else wouldn't he dare to do? A direct descendant of the Liu family had an accident in this place. Do you know how serious the crime is? Arrest him immediately. A group of LV Weihai's lackeys roared in anger. Their faces were filled with incomparable fear. They could not imagine how angry the Liu family would be if they knew that LV Weihai had become like this. Xia Ping said lazily, "It's not murder, it's just self-defense. This LV Weihai relied on the great hypnosis technique to attack me. He was unscrupulous and committed all sorts of evil. I didn't expect that he would suffer a backlash from his mental power. He only has himself to blame. It has nothing to do with anyone else. If you don't believe me, you can check the surveillance footage here. Naturally, you can prove my innocence." He calmly looked at the staff members. "Yes, I can prove that the first person to attack was LV Weihai." He asked for it all. Jiang Yaru, Chu Rong, and Nangong Wu also stood up to testify for Xia Ping. Sinister. Zhong Yuan and the others all roared in their hearts. They finally understood why Xia Ping pretended to be defeated when he clearly had the ability to defeat LV Weihai. It turned out that he wanted to create evidence of self-defense. After all, cameras were installed everywhere in the airport. Such a thing could not be covered up. But LV Weihai was miserable. After all, he was beaten like a dead dog by Xia Ping. He didn't know if he still had a future in martial arts. Even after being beaten to this state, he had no way to retaliate. Even the police couldn't do anything about it. Go and investigate. The airport staff looked at each other. They immediately turned on the surveillance footage and investigated what had just happened. As a result, they found that it was indeed LV Weihai's fault. Xiaoping was only defending himself. If it wasn't for the fact that the injured person was LV Weihai, a member of the LV family, this matter would probably have ended just like that. Brother Security, immediately arrest this group of black sheep and put them in jail. If we let this group of people continue to cause trouble everywhere, who knows how many more victims will appear? Xiaoping shouted, "Don't think that LV Weihai can escape punishment just because he has become an idiot. I will definitely sue him until his pants fall off. Let the Liu family come over and apologize to me. Otherwise, this matter will not be over. Do you understand?" Chapter 3:17. Shameless. Zhong Yuan and the others were speechless. It was clear that this guy had seriously injured LV Weihai and almost turned him into an idiot, yet he still pretended to be the biggest victim. Shameless to the extreme. He even wanted to sue the LV family and make them apologize to him. Even in his dreams, this was not the case. However, they finally knew that Xiaoping was a member of the giant company. They were all shocked. No wonder he was so rich and unscrupulous. With such a force as his backing, even the King family would not be afraid. This Xiaoping is too cheap, shameless to the extreme. He beat Big Brother LV to this state and still wants to complain and ask for compensation? Compensation, my ass. He slapped our face and still wants to extort money from us. Does he want to ascend to the heavens? Offending the LV family won't end well for him. All of LV Weihai's underlings were enraged. They had never seen such a bastard in their lives. Yes. We will deal with this matter impartially. Don't worry. The airport staff nodded their heads with bitter faces. This time, they were involved in the confrontation between the LV family and the giant company. They felt bitter in their hearts. If they were not careful, they would be finished. Right now, they didn't dare to say anything. They only said that they would deal with it impartially and then leave it to the higher-ups to deal with. The other matters had nothing to do with them. Just deal with it impartially. Otherwise, I will teach you a lesson. Take these people and scram. Xiaoping waved his hand, revealing an arrogant look. He had also heard the system notification. He had just gained 5,000 hatred points. So. The airport staff didn't stay in this place. They brought the injured students and the unconscious LV Weihai to the nearby hospital for treatment. Let's go too. Xiaoping did not stay here and immediately left the airport. At this time, no one stopped him. Big brother, it is too late. Let's rest here for the night and leave tomorrow. Feng Hetong looked at the sky. It was already 6 or 7 in the evening. That's right. We still need to prepare some things. Nangongwu nodded. After entering the Evil Corpse mountain range, we might not be able to come out for a long time. We need to prepare nutrient drinks and some equipment. The so-called nutrient fluid was a high-energy protein that contained a large amount of energy. If an ordinary cultivator consumed a nutrient fluid, it would not be a problem even if they did not eat for an entire day. When ordinary martial artists went out to train, they would also bring a lot of nutrient drinks with them in case of emergencies. Sure. Xiaoping nodded. Jiang Yaru said in a low voice, however, that LV Weihai you just offended isn't an ordinary person. The LV family is a famous sovereign family in the heavens realm. Their strength is only second to the 3 giants. Offending a family like that is not something that can be easily resolved. Her expression was very solemn. That's right. It's said that LV Weihai has the Dark Raven's bloodline and has extremely high spiritual talent. Even the LV family, he's a favored direct descendant. Feng Hetong opened the internet and immediately searched for information about LV Weihai. In this era of the internet, it was relatively easy to find information about some people. Moreover, LV Weihai was also a celebrity. He was usually very high profile, so it was even easier to investigate. It's useless to say these things. If you offended him, so be it. There's nothing to regret. Xiaoping's eyes flashed. Moreover, The one I offended was LV Weihai, not the LV family. There's still a difference between the two. Moreover, I also have a backer. This time's matter was also LV Weihai's fault, so he didn't dare to openly deal with me. At most, he just gave me a little trouble. If that kid still dares to be arrogant, next time I'll directly kill him. He didn't care about the dog shit LV family. If they dared to provoke him, then they must pay the price. Jiang Yaru and the others also nodded. They didn't want to cause trouble, but they weren't afraid of it either. Since they were already bullied, if they didn't fight back, then they would really be turtles hiding in their shells. Let's go and find a hotel to stay in first, Xia Ping said indifferently. In Corpse City Hospital, after emergency treatment, LV Weihai's subordinates finally recovered from their injuries. After all, they didn't suffer from very serious injuries. They only needed to soak in the nutrient solution once. However, the most serious one was LV Weihai because his injuries weren't physical, but mental. This kind of injury was still a bit difficult to cure with current treatment technology. However, LV Weihai still relied on his powerful bloodline power to automatically wake up. Damn it! In the hospital ward, LV Weihai shouted angrily, "That damn Yin Huang star bastard dared to plot against me like this. If I don't take revenge, LV Weihai, am not a human." He felt incomparable anger in his heart. To think that he, a dignified descendant of the LV family, one of the top 10 newcomers this time, was actually plotted against by a little fifth heaven of the martial warrior realm slut. How could he endure this? Especially after suffering from mental injuries, who knew how many precious medicines and how much time it would take to fully recover. His resentment towards Xia Ping could simply break through the sky. It's really too hateful. That bastard not only injured Brother LV, he even wanted to sue Brother LV and ask for compensation from the LV family. I've never seen such an arrogant person. He doesn't put the LV family in his eyes at all. He's only at the fifth heaven of the martial warrior realm, and he's already so arrogant. If he advances to the martial master realm, wouldn't he be riding on Brother LV's head? Such a person must not be allowed to live. One by one, the lackeys gritted their teeth and were very resentful towards Xia Ping. It's a pity that my LV family's forces are not in this place. Otherwise, I can mobilize my LV family's personal guards and immediately enter the gloomy Corpse Mountain range to kill him. LV Weihai was very unwilling. The killing intent in his heart was boiling. He wished he could immediately kill Xia Ping. Young Master LV, don't worry. A lackey's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. This is the gloomy Corpse City. Not only are there students, there are also many desperados living here. As long as you give them money, they will sell their lives for you. If we can find some desperados to help us, killing that Xia Ping will be like killing a dog. His tone was very fierce. Then what are you waiting for? Immediately go and find them. It's just money, I have plenty of it. As long as you can kill that Xia Ping, I will heavily reward you. LV Weihai's face was ferocious. All right, that kid has a few beautiful women around him. Don't kill them for now. I want to imprison them and make them my slaves. Not only do I want that kid to die, I also want to humiliate his women. I want him to see the consequences of offending me. LV Weihai. His heart was filled with anger. Yes, young Master LV. Chapter 3:18. Very quickly, the night passed. Xia Ping and the others ate and drank to their heart's content. After recuperating, they immediately left the Yin Corpse City and headed towards the distant Yin Corpse mountain range. The Yin Corpse City was only 2 kilometers away from the Yin Corpse mountain range, so they quickly arrived. The closer they got to the Yin Corpse mountain range, the more Xia Ping found that the surrounding air had become turbid. There was an unpleasant smell in the air, mixed with the rotting smell of corpses. Even the soil on the ground had turned black, like a swamp, constantly rolling and producing black bubbles. From time to time, piles of white bones would appear on the ground, making it seem like they were in hell. Be careful, Jiang Yaru said in a deep voice. It is said that the air in the Yin Corpse mountain range contains a slight amount of poison. If you breathe it for a long time, ordinary martial artists will get sick and die from the poison. You must constantly stimulate your true qi to form a qi cover to resist the poison in the air. Even the soil on the ground is contaminated with corpse poison, so you can't easily touch it. At this time, a layer of transparent, true chi cover appeared on her body, covering every part of her body, isolating the outside air. If it was ordinary poison, it would be impossible to enter. Chu Rong, Nan Gongwu, and Feng Hetong were the same. They operated the techniques in their body, forming a chi cover on the surface of their body. Only in this way could they survive in the Yin Corpse mountain range. But Xiaoping didn't need it. His dark north body protection technique was constantly operating, expelling the poison in the Yin Corpse mountain range, making it impossible for it to approach his body. They rushed all the way and finally entered the Yin Corpse mountain range, then ran for more than 10 kilometers. Amazing. Xiaoping looked around. He felt that this huge mountain range was shrouded in a layer of gray fog, faintly emitting a strange power. It condensed and did not dissipate, isolating it from the outside world. This was the power of space isolation. Once they entered this mountain range, it was like entering another space. The rules of heaven and earth changed, not allowing martial masters to appear in this space. However, it didn't affect martial realm experts at all. There are actually trees here. Jiang Yaru also discovered that there were many trees growing on the nearby mountains, but these trees had no leaves and were completely white like bones. Don't get close to these trees. In the Yin Corpse mountain range, even plants are extremely dangerous. Nangong Wu said in a low voice, "These trees are called white bone trees. Once a living being approaches, they will immediately attack, kill, and devour the living being." Previously, there were some students who didn't recognize these trees and foolishly approached them. In the end, they were killed and turned into fertilizer for the white bone trees. We have to be careful. She pointed at the white bone trees in front of her, her eyes filled with vigilance. But it's really strange. We've been walking for more than 10 kilometers. Why haven't we encountered any zombies or skeletons? Have they all been killed? Feng Hetong looked around curiously. Xiaoping said indifferently, "They weren't killed. They just hid and wanted to ambush us." What? Hearing this, Jiang Yaru, Chu Rong, Nangong Wu, and Feng Hetong immediately jumped in fright and vigilantly looked in front of them. Boom! At this moment, the ground shook and the soil rolled. White skeletons emerged from the ground. Their bodies were crooked as they stood on the ground. 2 black holes on their bodies contained blue soul flames. Even their bones seemed to be engraved with many mysterious inscriptions, making their bones even harder. Some of the skeletons even held bone blades in their hands, emitting terrifying killing intent. Haha, foolish humans. Have you finally discovered that this is an ambush? But it's too late. You've already stepped into this general's trap. Obediently wait for your deaths. I will refine you into my loyal and devoted subordinates. With a swoosh, a 2-meter-tall zombie appeared in front of them. It was covered in black armor and held a large blade in its hand. It rode on a tall skeleton horse, looking like an ancient general. A tyrannical, killing intent surged out of its body. With its body as the center, the area within a radius of several hundred meters turned into a vacuum. The yin qi on the ground boiled, forming a black swamp. Feng Etong and the others were shocked. This zombie general had a cultivation of at least the 7th layer of the fighter realm. Die. The zombie general didn't waste any time with Xiaoping and the others. Riding on the skeleton horse, it aggressively rolled over like a tank. The sharp blade in its hand slashed down from the sky. Bang! As the blade slashed down, ripples appeared in the air. It was powerful and heavy, containing the strength of thousands of caddies. It was like an ancient general. Even if a huge rock was placed in front of it, it would be split in half. Xiaoping suddenly punched out. His fist was covered with terrifying true qi. With a bang, the fist and the blade collided. The tyrannical true qi vibrated. It was like a dragon and a tiger fighting. A terrifying force erupted, setting off a gale. More than 10 skeletons in the surroundings were sent flying. They were directly shattered and turned into a pile of bones on the ground. The ground shook even more. A huge pit appeared at the feet of the 2 people. Smoke and dust billowed. How is this possible? The zombie general's eyes widened. He simply couldn't believe it. He thought that even an expert at the 7th layer of the fighter realm might not be able to match up to his blade and had to avoid it. However, this brat's punch produced a tyrannical force. It was actually able to contend with him, and they were evenly matched. He even had a vague feeling that he was about to be defeated. Take this palm of mine. Without any hesitation, Xia Ping slapped with his palm. The first move of the immovable Buddha palm. First appearance of Buddha's aura. Immediately, the palm was wrapped in dazzling golden light and emitted waves of Buddha's aura. In the void, there seemed to be the chanting of countless enlightened monks. It seemed to completely purify the surrounding yin qi. Sizzle. Suddenly, the surrounding gray yin qi was unable to resist such a Buddha's aura. Like melting ice and snow, it instantly purified the area within a radius of 100 meters. This was because the immovable Buddha palm was one of the unique skills of Buddhism. It contained the power to purify the world's impurities. To these yin attribute creatures, it had a natural restraining effect and could be called a nemesis. Bang! This palm landed solidly on the body of the zombie general. Immediately, he let out a shrill scream. There seemed to be a huge golden palm print on his chest. There was a charred smell around it. His entire body was sent flying hundreds of meters away. The skeletal horse under him was even more miserable. It was shaken by the strong wind and was sent flying. It was torn apart and turned into a pile of bones on the ground. It was completely lifeless, and the soul flame was extinguished. Chapter 319. Don't even think of running. Seeing that the zombie general was trying to escape, Xia Ping chased after him. Using the Kuan Peng steps, he was like a great rock controlling the air. His speed was extremely fast, and he quickly caught up. Stop him! Hurry up and stop him! The zombie general shouted, ordering the surrounding skeleton soldiers to rush forward in an attempt to stop Xia Ping. Whoosh! Immediately, hundreds of skeleton soldiers charged forward fearlessly. Some held bone blades, while others held bone shields. Like a small army, they charged forward in a frenzy. Kill! Xia Ping's eyes flashed with a cold light. His hands formed a seal, and his body emitted a huge golden light like a Buddha. His face also revealed a merciful expression. He struck out with his palm, and in an instant, the sky was filled with golden palm prints, like a Buddha's palm, containing the power to purify the world's impurities. Bang, bang, bang. The hundreds of skeleton soldiers blocking the way couldn't withstand this power at all. As if they were being crushed by a flood, they were all sent flying, and even their bones were smashed into pieces. When the golden light burst out, it was as if they were being burned by the sun. Their bones fell down, and the yin energy maintaining their bodies quickly disappeared, as if they were being purified. Jiang Yaru, Chu Rong, Nangong Wu, and Feng Hatong also rushed forward, using exquisite martial skills to attack. One by one, the skeleton soldiers were destroyed with unstoppable momentum. Damn it! The zombie general was scared half to death. He originally wanted to ambush these humans and kill them, and then obtain their corpses to refine his own elite soldiers. But he didn't expect these humans to be so ferocious, especially the young man he was fighting. He was simply a ferocious beast, and he even had a powerful martial skill that could suppress them. How could he fight? There was no way to fight. Dong! Xia Ping punched out again, and from a distance of 100 meters, it landed solidly on the zombie general's body, almost instantly piercing through his chest. Ah! The zombie general screamed, rolling and crawling, following the powerful force. He rolled on the ground like a soccer ball, speeding up his escape. In a few breaths' time, he disappeared on the spot. After that, he ran to a nearby mountain. There was a pitch-black hole in it, and he quickly crawled into it without turning his head back. He went in. Xia Ping immediately frowned. He saw that the cave was dark, and there was a black aura coming out, emitting a dangerous and dark aura. This must be the zombie general's tomb, Nangong Wu said with certainty. It said that these zombies were corroded by the yin qi and slowly transformed into powerful zombies by the power here. They all have the habits of zombies and like to build their own tombs in the mountains. Obviously, this mountain should be the zombie general's lair. However, since this is the zombie general's lair, it must be filled with danger. There must be a powerful army stationed there. She looked very serious. Although it's dangerous, since this is the zombie general's lair, there will naturally be many treasures hidden here. If I can kill the zombie general, I'll definitely be able to obtain a lot of treasures. Xiaoping rubbed his chin and said, "You guys stay here and kill the zombies. I'll enter the graveyard to take a look. Once I'm done with the zombie general, I'll come out and meet up with you guys." As soon as he finished speaking, Xiaoping immediately rushed in. Too reckless. Jiang Yaru and the others were helpless, but there was nothing they could do. They could only wait outside for Xiaoping to come out. Xiaoping went deeper into the cave. He discovered that there were many winding tunnels that seemed to go deep underground. It was like a maze. If an ordinary person were to go in, they would immediately get lost. However, for Xiaoping, who had mastered the 10,000-mile tracking technique, this kind of maze was nothing. As long as he followed the smell of the zombie general, there would definitely be no problems. You dare to trespass into the general's cave? Human, you're seeking death. This is a forbidden area. Without orders, no one is allowed to enter. If outsiders dare to enter, the only path left for them is death. Human, hand over your life. With a boom, blood-red skeletal soldiers immediately rushed out from the huge tunnel. Each of them held a spear in their hands, and it was obvious that they were several times stronger than the skeletal soldiers outside. There were even some zombies. They were even stronger than the blood-red skeletal soldiers. They wore black armor and looked like martial arts masters, emitting a tyrannical martial aura. These zombies were also human elites when they were alive. Although they had died and were turned into zombies by the majestic yin qi here, they still retained a trace of their memories from when they were alive. They knew some profound martial arts. Go to hell. Xiaoping looked at the hundreds of zombies and skeletal soldiers. There was no change in his eyes. Suddenly, he let out a roar. Ultimate skill, Heavenly Dragon's music. Immediately, a loud roar shook the area. It was like the roar of a ferocious beast in the forest. It also sounded like thousands of volcanoes erupting at the same time. The condensed sound waves spread out rapidly, and ripples appeared in the air. It was indestructible. This power even contained Xiaoping's spiritual will. Not only could it harm the body, but it could also harm the soul. It was enough to cause great damage to these yin attribute creatures. Bang, bang, bang. The power of the sound waves hit the skeletal soldiers and immediately caused great damage. Their soul flames seemed to be extinguished in an instant. They were completely destroyed. With a crash, a large number of blood-red skeletons fell to the ground, turning into a pile of bones. The bodies of the zombies also exploded. Like watermelons, they split into pieces and flew in all directions. These are the yin energy pearls? When these zombies were all killed by Xiaoping, gray pearls the size of a thumb appeared on the ground. They contained pure energy. They were the yin energy pearls. It is said that these yin energy pearls contain pure yin attribute energy. It is of great benefit to the cultivation of martial artists. They can also be used as the main ingredient of elixirs. There are many benefits. A gray pearl the size of a thumb is worth 1 point. Xiaoping grabbed with his big hand. He suddenly grabbed hundreds of yin energy pearls, which were worth 100 points. Rumble, in the next second, Xiaoping ran the cultivation method in his body. Strong, genuine qi wrapped around these yin energy pearls and refined them in an instant. A pure energy flowed into his body, flowing through his limbs and veins and into the 5th acupoint. Just a little more, and I can break through to the 6th heaven of the martial artist realm. After absorbing the energy of these yin energy pearls, Xiaoping immediately felt that his bottleneck had loosened a lot. The genuine qi in his body continued to increase, and the power in his body continued to strengthen. Chapter 320. Boom. Along the way, Xiaoping killed hundreds of blood-colored skeletons and zombies. There are no longer any monsters in this underground tunnel that could stop him. Xiaoping was invincible as he slaughtered his way through. Soon, he arrived at a huge underground palace. The palace was very simple. The walls were carved with pictures of many ferocious beasts. On the ground, there were 5 to 6 bronze coffins that emitted a strong, bloody aura. The zombie general that was injured by Xiaoping earlier was also standing in the middle of the palace. It glared at Xiaoping ferociously, emitting boundless rage. "Damned human, how dare you barge into my palace and kill so many of my elite subordinates? If you don't die today, I will not rest." The zombie general bellowed angrily. It felt an unprecedented rage. Because of this operation, it had suffered heavy losses. Not only were the soldiers that it had painstakingly gathered killed, but it was also severely injured. One could imagine how furious it was now. "What can a stray dog like you do?" Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back. The zombie general sneered. "Who told you that I'm the only one here?" Bang, bang, bang. As soon as he finished speaking, the 5 or 6 bronze coffins on the ground immediately opened and broke into pieces with a bang. 5 or 6 tyrannical zombies flew out from the coffins. Their entire bodies were green, and each of them was no weaker than the zombie general. "Is it this human? How dare you barge into our great necropolis? You're courting death. Why are we wasting our breath on this human? I can feel the powerful flesh and blood energy in this human. If we can devour him, we will definitely be able to increase our strength greatly. Tisk tiske, since this foolish human dares to court death, let's fulfill his wish." The 5 to 6 green zombies looked at Xiaoping with malevolent expressions. They split into 6 directions and surrounded Xiaoping, not leaving any gaps. Their bodies emitted a terrifying, murderous aura. At this moment, the entire palace seemed to be filled with the aura of blood. The ground was corroded by the murderous aura, and the stone floor trembled. It was as though it was about to turn into a blood-colored swamp. "Kill him." The zombie general bellowed angrily and gave the order. In an instant, the 7 zombies attacked at the same time, exploding with the strength of a fighter's 7th heaven. The entire palace shook as a violent force erupted. Xiaoping's expression was calm. He took a step forward and executed his palm technique, immovable Buddha palm. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In just a breath's time, more than a dozen figures of Xiaoping appeared in the same place. He blasted out his palms in all directions, and dense palm prints appeared in the air. Even his entire body was surrounded by golden light, as if he was a golden Buddha bathed in Buddhist light. Every palm strike contained the power to subdue demons. Boom! The 2 forces collided like a volcano erupting. The 7 zombies screamed in pain. They didn't expect this human to be so powerful. Just his strength alone was not inferior to theirs. What terrified them the most was that the power of this palm technique contained a mighty power that could purify everything. More often than not, when their power came into contact with this palm, their power would be weakened. They weren't a match for the golden palm at all. They were directly struck by the golden palm, and their bodies were sent flying backward, smashing into the surrounding walls. Kacha! Kacha! Immediately, huge human-shaped pits appeared on the wall. Rubble crashed down, and smoke and dust billowed, creating a huge tremor. Damn humans! The zombie general was going crazy. It struggled out of the crater, furious to the extreme, and immediately wanted counterattack. Its hands turned into sharp claws that were like peerless weapons, and it wanted to rush up and kill. Go to hell. Xiaoping was expressionless. The genuine qi in his body operated to the extreme, and the genuine qi in his 5 acupoints rotated like a spiral. All the muscles in his body were vibrating. He took a step forward and slapped with his palm. Immediately, a huge golden palm blasted out. It was like a swastika symbol, bathed in Buddhist light. This was the power to subdue dragons and subdue demons. It suppressed everything, and the gray, cold air in the surroundings rapidly melted. Dong! It was this palm that bombarded the body of the zombie general from a distance of 40 to 50 meters. In an instant, a huge hole was blasted in its chest. The huge Buddhist light corroded its body, and as if it had a life of its own, it surrounded every cell in its body. No, no, no! The zombie general screamed again and again. Its eyes were filled with extreme fear. It tried to operate the cold power in its body, but it was too late. This was simply a fatal injury. It kept rolling on the ground in an incomparably frenzied manner. The cold power in its body seemed to have encountered its natural enemy, and it rapidly melted. Its entire body was burned to ashes in a few breaths. With a thud, a grape-sized inchi bead fell to the ground, spinning. How is this possible? The other 6 green zombies were dumbfounded. How could they have expected such a thing to happen? Xia Ping was clearly just a martial artist level 5 human, and his strength was so much weaker than theirs. But now, he defeated 7 of them with a single move, causing them to fall to the ground with serious injuries. Then, with another slap, he killed one of them. It was as easy as cutting melons and vegetables. It was as easy as blowing off dust. Refined, Xia Ping grabbed the inchi bead in his right hand. At the same time, he operated the cultivation technique in his body, and in an instant, the inchi bead was quickly refined and absorbed into his body. Walala, majestic energy flowed into his meridians like a great river. Just the energy contained in this inchi bead was comparable to 200 to 300 small inchi beads, and its quality was even higher. Bang! Just when this energy reached its limit, the 5th acupoint was completely filled with genuine qi. Xia Ping's body shook, and the door of the 6th acupoint was finally broken. Martial Artist Level 6. Finally leveled up. Xia Ping felt that the muscles and bones in his body were constantly strengthening, and the genuine qi in his body was also stronger than before. His aura was rising steadily, and it was twice as strong as before. Even a hard marble floor could not withstand such an aura. 2 huge pits appeared on the ground where his feet stood, and countless cracks appeared. Some of the small gravel was even turned into powder. Not good. This human has leveled up. Damn it, he is already so terrifying when he is only at the martial artist level 5. If he has leveled up to the martial artist level 6, won't he be heaven-defying? Run. We are no match for this human. The 5 or 6 green zombies were trembling in fear. After witnessing Xia Ping's unparalleled ferocity, killing one of their companions with a single slap, and now that his strength had improved greatly, they had even less will to fight. Moreover, they were not those skeleton soldiers without intelligence. They did not have the spirit to be fearless of death, and they would not foolishly stay here and fight to the death with the human. So. Chapter 321. 8 Notes of the Heavenly Dragon. Seeing the 6 green zombies attempting to escape, Xia Ping's eyes flashed coldly. Standing on the spot, he channeled the energy in his dantian, opened his mouth, and let out a roar. Wu, gu, ba, ma, e. In just an instant, a huge sound wave came from the void like the roar of a heavenly dragon. In fact, every sound wave condensed into syllables, blasting in all directions. The sound waves surged and took on a physical form. The ground was also destroyed by the sound waves. Terrifying cracks appeared, and gravel flew in all directions. This scene was like being ravaged by a typhoon with a magnitude of more than 10. It had an astonishing might. Ouch, my head hurts. What kind of sound-killing technique is this? Why is it so terrifying? It feels like my body is being cut by a knife or a sword. I can't block it at all. No. I still want to become the king of zombies. I want to become the king of zombies and rule over an army of tens of thousands. How can I die now? The green zombies did not even manage to take a few steps before they were enveloped by the power. The sound waves shook their bodies thousands of times, not to mention that it also contained Xia Ping's spiritual will. To these attribute undead creatures, an attack that contained spiritual power was simply fatal. It was also one of the most destructive attacks that could not be blocked at all. In fact, when Xiaoping was a Fighter 5 firmament cultivator, the power of the sound waves was already extremely terrifying, enough to shatter rocks. Now that he had advanced to the Fighter 6 firmament, it was even more terrifying. A single roar was enough to shatter a rock into dust. Bang, bang, bang. In just a second, they could no longer hold on. Their bodies felt like they were being cut by thousands of knives, and their souls felt like they were being bombarded by hundreds of hammers. Their bodies exploded into pieces in midair. Every piece of his body flew out like a bullet, shattering into pieces and bombarding the rocky ground around him, creating deep pits. Furthermore, the flesh and blood of these zombies contained corrosive power. Like sulfuric acid, they corroded the ground, creating holes. At this moment, the air was filled with a foul stench. The green zombies were all destroyed. At this moment, 5 to 6 grape-sized energy beads appeared on the ground, spinning on the ground. Not bad, not bad. Xiaoping grabbed with his big hand and immediately grabbed the 5 or 6 energy beads. He knew that even the energy beads were divided into levels. They were elementary, intermediate, and advanced energy beads. Obviously, these 6 green zombies had the cultivation of the 7th heaven of the martial artist realm. The Qi beads they left behind must be high-grade Qi beads. The energy contained in them was 4 to 5 times that of a middle-grade Qi bead. Each bead was worth 50 points. A mid-level energy bead was worth 10 points. Were these things? Xiaoping looked around and immediately saw a massive treasure chest in the corner. It looked incredibly grand and seemed to contain some sort of treasure. With a bang, he stepped forward and slapped it with his palm, immediately shaking the treasure chest open, revealing the things inside. The treasure chest was filled to the brim with Qi beads, emitting a dense Qi. Xiaoping carefully examined it. There were a total of 30 high-grade Qi beads, 150 mid-grade Qi beads, and over 1,000 low-grade Qi beads. These energy pearls should have been collected by the zombie generals themselves. It was said that these zombies would even kill each other because they would devour their own kind and devour the power of the Qi beads, allowing them to evolve faster and become stronger. In a space like the gloomy Corpse Mountain Range, only the stronger the creature, the larger the territory, the more subordinates, and the more resources they could occupy. As expected, I have to enter the Great Tomb and kill the zombie generals to make a fortune. If I kill those skeleton soldiers outside, no matter how many I kill, I won't gain anything. It's a waste of time and energy. Xiaoping smiled. He was overjoyed. Just the Qi beads in this treasure chest were worth thousands of points. He did not know how many benefits there were. Even if he did not take it back to the school to exchange for points and used it for his own cultivation, it would save him several months of cultivation time. It would help him fill up his 6th acupoint with true Qi and quickly advance to the 7th heaven. He would not forget the conflict with Su Huajian and the others. If he met those seniors again, he would definitely kill them. He had always remembered this grudge. Refine. Xiaoping grabbed the 6 high-grade energy pearls and immediately refined them. A large amount of pure energy flowed into his body, constantly filling up his 6th acupoint. The true Qi in his body increased crazily, making walala sounds. It seems that I can only refine 6 high-grade energy pearls today. After an unknown amount of time, Xiaoping opened his eyes, emitting a trace of terrifying light. He felt that the true Qi in his body had increased by a level, and 6 high-grade energy pearls could save him more than a month of cultivation time. But the body could absorb this energy daily. There was a limit. This was the so-called too much was as bad as not enough. He had to wait for his body to completely refine this energy before he could continue to absorb it the next day. I wonder how my strength is now. Xiaoping kept the treasure chest in his spatial ring. His eyes flashed. He wanted to test his strength. Bang! Suddenly, Xiaoping punched out. The void shook and punched towards the wall in front of him. True Qi condensed, and suddenly a huge hole appeared in the stone wall in front of him. Crushed stones rolled down. Even some of the crushed stones were turned into powder, showing the tyrannical destructive power. What a powerful strength. Xiaoping clenched his fists, making popping sounds. He could feel that he was more than 40 to 50% stronger than before. Even at a distance of 200 meters, he could still kill an enemy with one punch, shattering the enemy's internal organs. Not only his strength, even his mental power had increased by a lot, and his perception of the world had also become clearer. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Xiaoping practiced his martial arts on the spot, displaying his own fist techniques, constantly mastering them, letting his body adapt to the current explosive increase in strength. His figure appeared in the entire space. 10 minutes later, the ground of the palace was in a mess, with holes everywhere. But after this kind of practice, he had more or less adapted to the current strength and speed of his body. It's time to go out. Xiaoping took a deep breath, stabilizing the true qi in his body. His figure flashed, and he ran outside. At this time, outside the mountain, Jiang Yaru and the others were constantly killing the skeleton soldiers, zombies, and other monsters that emerged from the nearby black swamp, obtaining one after another energy pearl after another. I wonder how Xiaoping is doing after entering the tomb. Nothing bad happened, right? He's been in there for a long time, and he still hasn't come out. He should be fine. It's not like you guys don't know how strong Big Brother is. We know, but there's always the unpredictable. If something unexpected happened, it's possible. Indeed, if Xiaoping still doesn't come out, we'll go in and take a look. Jiang Yaru, Chu Rong, Nangong Wu, Feng Hetong, and the others were all discussing. They had continuously killed over 1,000 skeleton soldiers and zombies, and their martial arts were becoming more and more proficient. Chapter 3:22. Big Brother, you're out. Seeing Xiaoping come out, Feng Hetong couldn't help but cry out in surprise. Did anything happen after going in for such a long time? Chu Rong asked worriedly. Jiang Yaru and Nangong Wu also looked at Xiaoping at the same time, as if trying to see if he was injured. I'm fine. Xiaoping waved his hand. How could that zombie general do anything to me? I killed it long ago. The reason why I didn't come out for such a long time is because I comprehended something and cultivated inside for a period of time. What? Hearing this, Jiang Yaru and the others were shocked. They could also feel that Xiaoping's aura was different from before. It was a level stronger, like an unparalleled ferocious beast. Damn it, this monster broke through again. They were all speechless. They felt that Xiaoping's breakthrough was no different from drinking water. It was too fast, too shocking. Suddenly, Xiaoping sensed something. He raised his head and looked into the distance. Come out. Don't think that I won't know of your existence just because you're hiding nearby. You can't hide the killing intent from me. Jiang Yaru and the others were shocked. They looked around, but found nothing. However, Xiaoping was definitely not the kind of person to speak carelessly. He must have discovered something. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At this moment, from behind a huge boulder in the distance, figures immediately appeared. There were at least 17 or 18 people. Each of them emitted a powerful aura and walked over with majestic steps. These figures were at least in the 6th heavenly layer of the martial realm. The strongest was in the 8th heavenly layer of the martial realm. Furthermore, each of them emitted a terrifying killing intent, as if they were bathed in blood. Who knew how many people they had killed? And the person in the lead was impressively LV Weihai. LV Weihai, what are you trying to do by bringing so many people to this place? Chu Rong couldn't help but shout angrily at LV Weihai. She instinctively felt that these people came here with bad intentions. So, she wanted to gain the upper hand with a show of strength and make these people feel guilty. What I want to do? LV Weihai sneered. His expression was full of disdain. He stared fiercely at Xiaoping. Isn't it obvious? Do you think that after humiliating me at the airport, this is the end? Are you kidding me? You made me, LV Weihai, lose so much face in front of so many people. If you don't pay the price, this matter will never end, understand? He clenched his fists, and his whole body was trembling. It was obvious that he was suppressing his anger. LV Weihai, don't go too far. Nangong Wu said in a deep voice. At the airport, it was just a fight. Everyone can settle it over a meal. There's no need to form a life and death grudge. We're all classmates, so why fight and kill each other? She put forward her suggestion, hoping to turn hostility into friendship. That's right, that's right. As the saying goes, if you don't fight, you won't get to know each other. Many friends who have been through life and death get to know each other this way. Our teacher also taught us to be harmonious and not to get angry. Feng Hatong shouted. He felt very guilty in his heart. LV Weihai had brought so many people here, and all of them were so powerful. Among them, there was even a powerhouse at the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm. No matter how he looked at it, they were at a disadvantage. Moreover, there was no one around. Even if he died here, no one would know, and the school would not be able to pursue the matter. I'll eat your sister. LV Weihai's expression was ferocious as he gnashed his teeth. You beat me up like a dead dog in front of so many people. You've lost all face. Do you know what the people outside call me now? They actually call me LV Shuehua. Speaking up to this point, he looked up to the sky and roared. They said that I, a powerhouse at the 7th heaven of the martial artist realm, was easily defeated by a powerhouse at the 5th heaven. This kind of battle record is too exaggerated. If this isn't fake, then what is it? Now the people outside are saying that my cultivation was raised by taking pills. In fact, I don't have any ability at all. Otherwise, why would I lose so badly? Tell me, if I don't beat you to death, what face will I, LV Weihai, have? Will I still be a man? His face was flushed red and extremely ferocious. It's a little miserable. Feng Hatong also admitted it. He put forward his own suggestion, but everything can be solved. If this matter can be solved with money, feel free to say it. My big brother is not short of money. He patted his chest, showing a rich and overbearing look. Solve your sister. LV Weihai was so angry that his nose was crooked. At this time, they had formed such a hatred, but this bastard actually wanted to use money to solve it. He wanted to use money to deal with him. What a joke. Who is LV Weihai? He was the direct descendant of the King family. His business covered the entire Cloud Realm. He could enter the top 1,000 of the humans' rich list. He had so much money. How could it be these bastards turn to throw money at him? Today, no matter what you say or what you want to do, you can't escape death. LV Weihai gritted his teeth. I'll let you die to tell those bastards of Yanhuang University that I, LV Weihai, am not someone who can be provoked at will. His body exuded a monstrous, murderous aura. Young Master LV, don't talk nonsense with these people. Just kill them, lest people pass by nearby and cause big trouble. A man with a knife scar stood up and said. He was extremely cold and had the cultivation of the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm. He was the boss of this group of villains. They were a small martial arts organization that made a living in Encorp City. Normally, they would go through life and death situations in this dangerous place. For money, they would do anything. Killing people to steal their treasures was a common thing. All of them were villains who killed without batting an eye. And LV Weihai had also contacted them through some connections and hired them to do things for him. Yeah, they're just people who are about to die. What's the point of being angry with them? But young Master LV, can we not kill these 3 women and let our brothers have some fun? That's right. It's not easy to find such exquisite women. This is much better than visiting brothels. At least we don't need to spend money. The villains sneered again and again. They stared at Xia Ping and the others as if they were looking at turtles in a jar. They thought that this group of people could not escape from their palms. They had so many people, and their martial arts cultivation was tyrannical. One punch from each of them was enough to beat Xia Ping and the others into meat paste. Whatever. As long as you kill Xia Ping, I can let you eat the soup of these women. LV Weihai's attitude was very casual. For him, no matter how beautiful a woman was, they were just clothes that could be thrown away at will. This group of bastards, Jiang Yaru clenched her fists. She knew that they would not be able to escape now. The other side wanted to kill them. These people's wills were like steel. No matter what they said, they could not change their minds. She did not think that LV Weihai would be so ruthless. He actually brought so many people. But even if she died, she would make this group of villains pay a heavy price. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back and sighed. What a pity. It seems that it is impossible to reason with you. In this world, whoever has the bigger fist is the one who is reasonable. Reason your sister. Go talk to the king of hell. Chapter 3:23. It's over. Feng Hetong couldn't help but shiver when he saw the other party make a move. That damn Baldy was an expert of the seventh heaven of the martial artist realm. Although he couldn't compare to a genius like LV Weihai, he was still considered strong. At the very least, he was much stronger than them, who were at the third heaven of the martial artist realm. Moreover, this Baldy was only one of them, relatively ordinary. If a group of them pounced on them, they would be dead for sure. All of you die, this son of a bitch. LV Weihai's face was ferocious as he stared at Xia Ping. The reason why he risked his body to come to the gloomy corpse mountains was to see Xia Ping die in pain with his own eyes. Only then could he vent the hatred in his heart. Go to hell, the Baldy shouted angrily. He operated the chi in his body and jumped over from where he was standing. The huge force caused the ground to crack. From the bulging muscles on his body, it could be seen how terrifying the power of his punch was. Even an elephant could be easily beaten to death. The power of his punch was astonishing. In the face of the Baldy's attack, Xia Ping was expressionless. He took a step forward and suddenly punched the air. This punch was condensed with the power of his chi. The air vibrated, and the huge force condensed into a fist. Vaguely, the roar of a lion could be heard in the air, shaking the forest. It was this punch that contained a terrifying power. The two were separated by hundreds of meters, and the Baldy was still in the air, unable to reach Xia Ping at all. Even Jiang Yaru and the others could see the Baldy's hideous and proud expression and feel the murderous intent. Dong! But in the next second, the Baldy's eyes widened and revealed a look of disbelief. This was because Xia Ping's punch had landed solidly on his own chest. With a poochie sound, his chest was easily penetrated and a huge bloody hole appeared. His entire body was destroyed by the powerful force. With a bang, his body immediately exploded and broke into pieces. A large number of pieces fell to the ground, dripping with blood. The Baldy was dead. No way he's dead. The hearts of the scar-faced man and the others twitched fiercely. They could not believe it at all. The bald thug was considered one of their elites. He was an expert at the seventh heaven of the martial artist realm. He was proficient in all kinds of fist techniques and had tyrannical combat power. Even if he fought against an eighth heaven martial artist, he would still be able to exchange a few blows. However, when facing this kid, he was killed by a punch through the air and turned into a pile of minced meat on the spot. He did not even have the chance to scream. He's become stronger. LV Weihai was even more shocked. He was very clear about Xia Ping's strength because he had just fought with Xia Ping yesterday. At that time, Xia Ping was only at the fifth heaven of the martial artist realm. But what was going on now? It had only been one night, and he had actually advanced to the sixth celestial stage. Was this a joke? Even eating couldn't be this fast. He deeply felt Xia Ping's potential. He seemed to be growing stronger all the time. Even if it was just one night, he could still undergo earth-shattering changes. This monster, Jiang Yaru and the others had long since become numb from the shock, unable to utter a single word. If you don't want to reason with me and want to fight with my fists, then you can go down and talk to the king of hell. After easily killing the bald criminal with a punch, Xia Ping took a step forward, twisted his waist, stood firmly in a horse stance, and blasted out a punch. His strength gushed out from his feet, and through the rotation of his waist, the strength was transmitted inch by inch in a spiral shape. From his shoulders, elbows, and then to his fists, a huge force of true chi erupted in an instant. In an instant, the entire ground seemed to tremble, and a terrifying explosion occurred in the air. Dot! The scarred man felt this tyrannical force erupt, and his expression immediately changed. This was a fatal punch. Even an expert at the eighth heaven of the martial artist realm would die after being hit by this punch. As for the others, needless to say, it was really too late to warn them now. The fist was like a seal, and the force penetrated through it, blasting over 100 meters away. The three criminals standing at the front did not even know what had happened, and they were forcibly hit by this punch. Bang, bang, bang. The three criminals did not even have time to scream. They stood in the same place, and the fist force penetrated their chests, and their bodies exploded just like that, scattering on the ground, dyeing the soil red. No, no, no. The scarred man and the others stared with their eyes wide open, and they were extremely angry in their hearts. They watched helplessly as their three companions were killed with a punch, and their deaths were worthless. One could imagine how angry they were now. Damn bastard, go to hell. You must pay the price for killing Lu Chi and the others. Go to hell, I must kill you, bastard. The group of murderers went crazy, and they could no longer suppress the anger in their hearts. In an instant, 7 or 8 murderers jumped out, attacking from all directions with an arrogant aura. Some were holding long spears, some were holding big sabers, some were holding swords, and some were barehanded. Every one of them erupted with the combat power of the seventh heaven of the martial artist realm. Countless martial arts forces gathered together, erupting a tyrannical destructive power. Even if an expert at the eighth heaven of the martial artist realm encountered such an attack, he would have to avoid it. However, Xiaoping was not an ordinary warrior. In the face of such an attack, he did not bother to dodge and let out a loud roar. 8 heavenly dragon music. Wu, ku, ba, ma, ah, 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 ah. These 8 syllables appeared in the air. Each syllable caused heaven and earth to tremble, and powerful sound waves exploded out. They were like ocean waves, covering the sky and covering the earth as they shot out. Ah! The 8 murderers immediately let out a shrill scream. Being attacked by such a violent sound wave, their eyes, noses, mouths, ears, and other places immediately bled. They were still jumping in the air and wanted to attack, but after being hit by this attack, they felt as if they had been bombarded by lightning, and their internal organs were severely injured. With a few bangs, they fell to the ground one by one, dead on the spot. You must be joking. The scarred man, who was at the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm, also felt his legs go weak at this moment, and his whole body was trembling. In a few breaths, more than a dozen of his elite subordinates were killed without any effort. Even he could not do such a thing. How could this be? LV Weihai's eyes widened. He did not expect such a thing to happen. He was obviously here to seek revenge and to kill Xiaoping easily. But what was going on now? They had not even made a move, and more than a dozen of them died. You want me to pay the price? Are you qualified? The aura on Xiaoping's body rose steadily, and with each step he took, the ground shook. He was simply like an invincible god of war. The whole mountain was shaking, and the murderous aura filled the sky. No, 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 run. Let's run. This guy's a monster, a real monster. We're no match for him at all. It's a mistake. It's really a mistake this time. If we don't run, we will die. Chapter 3:24. These villains were incomparably terrified. When had they ever encountered such a thing? They were tyrannical in Encorp City. They did not know how many wicked things they had done, how many innocent people they had killed, and how many benefits they had obtained in order to advance step by step to their current cultivation. Usually, they were also very careful and would never be careless. They did not make a move against those with a background, those who looked powerful and did not go to dangerous places, so they had survived until today. They also thought that if they continued like this, they could step on countless corpses, obtain a lot of benefits, safely advance to a higher realm of martial arts, and obtain the glory and splendor of the world. But now they had made a mistake. Just one mistake, and they had provoked someone they should not have provoked, and they were dead. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The remaining few villains quickly fled in all directions, almost using all their strength. It was estimated that they would never be able to move faster than today in this lifetime. They simply wished their parents could give them more legs. But no matter how fast these people were, how could they be faster than the speed of Kunpeng steps? Xiaoping only took a step forward, and it was as if the ground had shrunk to an inch. In an instant, he crossed dozens of meters, and then a terrible aura surged out from his dantian. Immediately, a tyrannical force slapped out, forming a terrible force. The whole sky was shaking, and there were ghostly wails and wolf howls. It ruthlessly bombarded these few villains. "Stop!" the scarred man shouted angrily. He finally came to his senses and was immediately shocked and angry. It was because of a moment of carelessness that this kid actually killed more than a dozen of his elite subordinates in a few breaths. His heart was about to explode from anger. Bang! He rushed over, holding a big saber in his hand, like a fierce beast pouncing over. He suddenly jumped into the air and slashed at Xia Ping, showing the terrible cultivation of the eighth heaven of the martial artist realm. Blood Soul held breaking saber. As the saber slashed down, the whole sky was filled with blood-red evil spirit, as if countless ghosts had appeared. Layers of saber shadows appeared in the air, and each saber had a terrible power. Saber chi vibrated. The scarred man had used this saber technique to fight with countless experts. It was unknown how many enemies he had killed, but he had long practiced this saber technique. Every saber existed to kill, and it was simplified to the extreme. There were no complicated moves at all. It hadn't struck Xia Ping yet, but the ground was shaking. Some of the smaller stones on the ground were unable to withstand such a terrifying aura and were crushed to dust. There were even cracks on the ground. "You dare to stop me? Die!" Xia Ping didn't dodge. A cold light flashed in his eyes. He took a step forward, and a terrifying aura rose. Faintly, there seemed to be a phantom of a giant elephant rising behind him. Terrifying true chi gushed out, covering every corner of his body as he punched out. The seventh move of the myriad beast's fist, Mammoth Axe. With a bang, this punch was like the birth of an ancient barbaric elephant. It let out an earth-shattering roar, and it was so powerful that even a rock that weighed hundreds of tons would be crushed into powder. A huge Zhen Qi axe appeared, pushing away the surrounding air and cleaving towards the scarred man, sweeping everything in its path. Bang! Two berserk powers collided. The blood-colored vengeful spirit and the elephant were entangled in midair, fighting with each other. Terrifying energy exploded out, stirring up a huge gale. "Ah!" the scarred man screamed. He couldn't bear the terrifying force coming from Xia Ping. The power of the giant axe was enough to smash everything, shaking his hand until it was numb. Even the broadsword in his hand fell to the ground. His whole body seemed to be struck by lightning. His body was sent flying for hundreds of meters, and a deep crack appeared on the ground. With a puff, he couldn't help but cough out a pile of blood, dyeing his clothes red. How is this possible? Seeing this scene, LV Weihai was suddenly terrified. He could no longer suppress the fear in his heart. Even an expert in the eighth heaven of the martial artist realm was not a match for this kid. With just one move, he was beaten like a dead dog. He fell to the ground and coughed up blood. If he continued to stay in this place, there was no doubt that he would be killed. It can't be. Even the boss was defeated by this kid with one punch. It's over, it's over. If I had known, I wouldn't have accepted this task. I actually encountered such a monster. Staying here is a dead end. I will definitely be buried with the boss. Let's escape first. We will take revenge on this kid when we get back. After killing so many of our people, he will definitely pay the price. Those villains were scared half to death. They even lost their souls. Their boss was not a match for this kid and was easily defeated in one move. How could they, the small fries, defeat this monster? As the saying goes, when the tree falls, the monkeys scatter. They didn't have much deep feelings, so naturally, they were scared and fled in all directions. They didn't dare to stay in this place at all. I said, "You can't escape at all." Xia Ping looked indifferently at the remaining few villains who wanted to escape. His figure flickered and actually appeared in the same place. Each figure displayed a kind of fist technique, be a tiger, a violent ape, a black bear, a raging bull, a poisonous snake, or a shark. The earth shook and the air was torn thousands of times. In an instant, this kind of power was like a volcanic eruption attacking those villains. The terrifying force immediately broke out, tearing the air like thunder. Across a distance of hundreds of meters, it arrived in an instant and accurately bombarded these villains. In the face of such power and such speed, They couldn't escape at all. They took this punch head on. Bang, bang, bang. One by one, they let out shrill screams as a huge bloody hole appeared in their chests. Their bodies couldn't withstand this kind of power and actually split into pieces, turning into a mass of meat paste. They were directly killed by the punch. Their eyes were wide open as if they couldn't believe that they died just like that. They clearly had a bright future and even wanted to advance to the martial master realm. How could they die now? However, no matter how unwilling, how resentful, how angry, or how unwilling they were, they couldn't escape death. This was the price he had to pay. He had to pay for it. LV Weihai was so scared that his legs turned to jelly. Although he stayed in the Cloud Realm, a place where monsters ran amok and danger lurked everywhere, he was a direct descendant of the LV family and a member of the Sovereign family. Naturally, he hadn't experienced too much danger. If there was any problem, the family would help him solve it. It had always been the case of many people bullying the few and crushing all enemies with their powerful strength. When had he ever encountered such a dangerous situation? Now, he was actually at a disadvantage, and his life was in danger. His whole body was trembling, and he didn't know what to do. Chapter 3:25. Yes, 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 run. We must run. Hearing this, Lu Weihai was like a chicken pecking at rice, his face pale. He couldn't resist the knife-scar's strength at all and was carried away like a chicken. Young Master Lu, as long as we get out of this brat's attack range, no matter how strong he is, he won't be able to kill us. The scarred man was very clear that even if all his brothers were dead, as long as he could save the Lu family's young master and obtain the friendship of this Lu family's direct descendant, then his future would be worry-free and he would definitely be able to achieve meteoric success. As for his dead brothers, he couldn't do anything about it. If you want to kill someone, then you have to be prepared to be killed. In a few breaths, they were 400 to 500 meters away, completely out of Xiaoping's attack range. Just you wait. Lu Weihai clenched his teeth, his eyes revealing a deep killing intent. When I return to the Lu family, I will immediately mobilize the Lu family's personal guards to kill you and tear you into pieces. Even the people around you will not be spared. Not a single one will be spared. In his entire life, he had never suffered such humiliation. To be defeated like this twice in a row was a great humiliation that he would never forget for the rest of his life. No matter what, he had to kill this brat and wash away his humiliation. Oh no, Lu Weihai escaped. Jiang Yaru and the others were extremely anxious. They knew that if Lu Weihai escaped, they would be in big trouble. After all, Lu Weihai was a direct descendant of the Lu family. Right now, they were already enemies. If they let him escape like this, who knew what kind of trouble it would bring? Perhaps as soon as they left the gloomy Corpse Mountains, they would be hunted down by the Lu family. He can't escape. A sliver of cold light flashed through Xiaoping's eyes as killing intent surged. He immediately pulled out the moon shooting bow from his space ring. Knocking an arrow, he aimed it at the scarred man and locked onto him with his spirit. He took a step forward and circulated the Zhen Qi in his dantian. A tyrannical Zhen Qi surged out and infused into the moon shooting bow. Immediately, the entire bow let out a buzzing sound, as if there were inscriptions vibrating and emitting a golden light. At this moment, Xiaoping's spiritual power seemed to be immersed in the treasured bow. It was as if he had once again entered the power of the extreme realm, reaching the realm of man and bow as one. He could sense that at this moment, the entire world was in a state of silence. The mountains, the earth, the rivers, and the wind seemed to have fused with his spiritual power. Xiao! In an instant, the arrow immediately shot out, which contained the tyrannical power of Xiaoping's innate qi. Like lightning, tearing through the air, it was impossible to see the shadow of the arrow. Such a speed has exceeded the level of ordinary human retina to capture. What? The knife scar man was still fleeing, but all of a sudden, his instincts as a martial artist at the Eighth Heaven realm made his hair stand on end. It seemed that a strong sense of danger was approaching, but he had no idea what was going on. He instinctively turned around, only to discover a black light appearing in front of his eyes. In the next second, The black light penetrated his head. Bang! The knife-scarred man did not even have the chance to scream. His forehead was instantly penetrated, and a huge bloody hole appeared. Even his body was moved by this powerful force. Under the effect of inertia, his body flew up like a football and suddenly smashed into a hard mountain wall opposite him. With a crack, a human-shaped hole was formed, gravel flew everywhere, and smoke and dust billowed. This is too exaggerated. Feng Hatong and the others were dumbfounded. They all watched helplessly as the scarred man died on the spot. His head was pierced by a black arrow, and he was nailed to the mountain wall, just like that. Blood dripped down from his head. They also saw that the knife-scar man's eyes were wide open, and there was a trace of disbelief, a trace of unwillingness, and a trace of regret in his pupils. How could he have thought that he would die like this? He was clearly hundreds of meters away, out of the opponent's attack range, but he still died. He could not escape, and an arrow pierced through his head. The power of the extreme state is indeed powerful. After shooting this arrow again, Xiaoping felt that his control of the power of the extreme state had become more proficient. Just this arrow alone could surpass 3 levels, and it would not be a problem to kill a martial artist at the 9th level. However, such an arrow consumed too much genuine chi power. With the current genuine chi power, he could at most shoot 3 arrows. If he wanted to kill other martial artists after shooting 3 arrows, it would be a little troublesome. It could be said that it was impossible. Therefore, this could only be used as a trump card. When facing a skilled and powerful enemy, it could not be used. After all, if a martial artist did not have genuine chi, it was like a car without fuel. No one knew how weak they would become, and anyone could kill a martial artist. Damn it! Seeing that even the knife-scarred man was killed by an arrow, LV Weihai was so scared that his face turned pale. He rolled and crawled, not daring to stay at all, and quickly fled into the distance. Swoosh! Xiaoping's figure flickered, and he used the Kuan Peng steps, leaped a distance of hundreds of meters, and hit the air with his palm. With a bang, like the morning bell and evening drum, it bombarded LV Weihai's body. Immediately, he was like a dead dog that was slapped to the ground, flying for hundreds of meters. In the end, LV Weihai fell to the ground, coughing blood nonstop, and a huge human-shaped pit appeared on the ground. Xiaoping took another step forward, arriving in front of LV Weihai, and looked down at him from above. "What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do?" LV Weihai put on a strong front and shouted loudly. "Do you know that I am from the LV clan? Do you know that I am LV Weihai? If you dare to kill me, my father will not let you off, and my LV clan will not let you off either. When that time comes, not only you, but even your family, your friends will all die. Do you understand?" He tried to threaten Xiaoping. "I understand." Xiaoping nodded and looked at him just like that. You know? LV Weihai was stunned, a little at a loss, not knowing what Xiaoping meant. Xiaoping condescendingly said, "Yes, I know, but you still have to die." Hearing this, LV Weihai suddenly understood. This brat knew that he was LV Weihai, and also knew that he was from the LV clan. He was also very clear about the power of the LV clan, a king clan. It was precisely because he knew that he had to die. As long as he died in the gloomy Corpse Mountain range, no one would know how he, LV Weihai, died. Even the LV clan would not be able to find any clues, and even their enemies would not be able to find any clues. Therefore, it was impossible for him to not die. No, no, no! LV Weihai screamed in fear. Understanding this, he tried to struggle. But how could he struggle? His palm was destroyed by Xiaoping. What did he mean by not having the slightest bit of strength? And, with such a short distance, wanting to dodge was simply impossible. Xiaoping's palm came down from the sky, and with a pung sound, it hit LV Weihai's head. A huge force exploded, and immediately the top of his head was shattered, and blood flowed from his 7 orifices. Chapter 326. They're all dead. Seeing this scene, Jiang Yaru and the others were extremely shocked. There were more than 10 martial realm experts, and there was no lack of martial realm experts among them. But they were still slaughtered by Xiaoping. This kind of power was simply unimaginable. Originally, they thought that it would be difficult for them to escape death today, but now they discovered that there was no danger at all. Instead, the criminals who were chasing them were all dead. Not a single one survived. What's this? Xiaoping immediately noticed that there was something on LV Weihai's body. He stretched out his hand and immediately took out a white porcelain bottle from LV Weihai's body. With a paw, he opened it and saw that there were 2 or 3 red pills inside, emitting a strong medicinal aura. Dragon Tiger Rui Pill. Xiaoping immediately recognized that it was a top-grade medicinal pill. It was extremely beneficial to experts in the martial warrior realm. It could greatly increase the true qi within one's body. Consuming such a medicinal pill was enough to save half a year of cultivation time. Right, this should be the pill that LV Weihai usually takes when he cultivates. The reason why he was able to reach the 7th martial realm so quickly is probably because he took the Dragon Tiger Rui pill. Xiaoping smiled faintly, his heart instantly filled with joy. He didn't expect to be able to obtain such a pill from LV Weihai. As long as he took these 3 Dragon Tiger Rui pills, he estimated that reaching the peak of the 6th martial realm would be a sure thing. It would save him more than a year of cultivation time. But unfortunately, when he wanted to search for the treasures on the other corpses, he couldn't find any. They were all poor bastards. Other than weapons, they didn't have anything on them. I didn't expect LV Weihai to actually die. Jiang Yaru and the others had complicated expressions. Offending a king clan was not a simple matter. Once the matter was exposed, they would have to pay a heavy price. But they also knew that if LV Weihai didn't die, then they would die. LV Weihai had brought a group of criminals to commit murder. If they didn't resist, they would definitely die. No matter what, they would become LV Weihai's mortal enemy. It was better to just directly kill them and end all troubles. Don't worry, Feng Hetong said in a deep voice. This is the Gloomy Corpse mountain range. It is an independent space. Experts above the martial realm cannot enter. Even the King clan cannot behave atrociously in this place. LV Weihai died here. As long as we don't say anything, no one will find out. As time passes, the Liu clan will think that LV Weihai has gone missing in the Evil Corpse mountain range. After all, countless cultivators have died in the Evil Corpse mountain range. It doesn't mean that he is invincible just because he is from a sovereign clan. Jiang Yaru, Chu Rong, and Nangong Wu all nodded in agreement. Fortunately, they were in a unique space like the Gloomy Corpse Mountains. Otherwise, if they were in the outside world, it would have been very difficult to conceal this news. Come and help. Throw these corpses into the valley to feed the zombies, Xiaoping said in a low voice. He was not moved at all. Since he had killed LV Weihai, he would not regret it. So what if LV Weihai was a member of a king clan? If he wanted to kill him, did he have to obediently hand over his head to be killed? If they annoyed him, he would just kill them. Yes, big brother. Feng Hetong immediately stepped forward. Jiang Yaru, Chu Rong, and Nangong Wu also came to help. They knew how important this matter was. As long as the corpses of LV Weihai and the others disappeared, then no matter how powerful the Liu family was, they wouldn't be able to find out who killed LV Weihai. Bang, bang, bang. A few minutes later, the corpses of LV Weihai and the others on the ground were thrown into a valley by Xiaoping and the others. They were quickly devoured by the surrounding zombies. Not even bones were left. Even a most brilliant detective would not know how LV Weihai died. Host. Suddenly, the system's voice rang out. There's an enemy full of killing intent towards the host. It is determined to be a major threat. Do you want to spend 1,000 hatred points to resolve it? Spend. Xiaoping's heart moved, and he immediately said. Immediately, a warm current surged in his mind, and a majestic amount of information poured in. A video-like thing appeared in his mind, and the person who caused the other party to have killing intent was Su Huajian. On a plain in the Gloomy Corpse Mountains, Su Huajian and the others were running quickly. All of them were experts in the 9th layer of the martial artist realm. They were tyrannical and unscrupulous in this place. Any skeleton soldiers, zombies, and so on that blocked in front of them were crushed into pieces. Nothing could stop them. Brother Sue, can this bird really find that Xiaoping? A gray-clothed man looked curiously at a cyan bird in Su Jianhua's hand. It was about the size of a palm. Its whole body was wrapped in true energy, isolating the surrounding cold air. Of course, this is the heaven and earth-seeking bird. Su Jianhua sneered. It is born to be extremely sensitive to auras. It can distinguish hundreds of thousands of auras between heaven and earth. Even if it is hundreds of kilometers away, it can easily find the target. When I was in the student dormitory, I deliberately made a move in order to get a piece of that kid's clothes. It has his aura on it. As long as the seeking bird smells this aura, no matter where that kid escapes, it can easily find him. He revealed a sneer, and his killing intent was boiling. In order to kill Xiaoping and completely eradicate this enemy of the Su family, he made many plans and took every possibility into account. Amazing, as expected of Brother Su. The seeking bird is a priceless treasure. It is said that even the school has to spend 10,000 points to buy it. Only Brother Su is willing to do so. We admire him. This way, Xiaoping is dead for sure. He can't even escape. If he stayed in Yanhuang University, we would at most humiliate him. But he actually left Yanhuang University and entered the gloomy Corpse Mountain Range. He is dead for sure. If he dies in the gloomy Corpse Mountain Range, even the King family can't find anyone to take revenge. The seeking bird, seems to have sensed something. Xiaoping is probably not far from here. Once we find Xiaoping, there's no need to talk nonsense. We will kill him with one palm. The dozen seniors sneered again and again. Their eyes were filled with deep coldness. Let's go. I can't wait to see Xiaoping's terrified expression. We didn't kill him in Yanhuang University, but we must kill him now. He can't escape. Su Jianhua sped up. With a bang, the video screen shattered. Su Jianhua and the others immediately disappeared. Su Jianhua. Xiaoping clenched his fists. His heart was boiling with killing intent. He didn't think that Su Jianhua wouldn't even wait for a second and actually followed him from the school. If not for the system notification, he might really have fallen into the enemy's ambush and fallen into a heavy encirclement. Interesting. You actually dare to follow me to the gloomy Corpse Mountain Range, then prepare to die here. Xiaoping wouldn't forget what happened in the school. Su Jianhua and the others wanted to kill him, and he also wanted to attack them. Chapter 327. Next, Xiaoping separated from Jiang Yaru and the others. He briefly explained the matter of Su Jianhua and the others chasing after him, but didn't elaborate on how he knew. After all, if Jiang Yaru and the others stayed by his side, not only would they implicate them, but they would also become a burden to him. If he was alone, it would be much easier to deal with Su Jianhua and the others. Moreover, Su Jianhua and the others only had his aura. If they wanted to chase after him, they would only chase after him. Then I'll be leaving. Take care. After saying this, Xiaoping's figure flickered and immediately left the place. I didn't expect Su Jianhua and the others to really chase after us. They're really ruthless. All the children of big families are like this. They're all cruel. If there's an enemy that threatens them, they'll never show mercy. I can see it in Yanhuang University. They dare to make a move in a place with surveillance cameras everywhere. They're simply unscrupulous. What else can't they do? But how did Xiaoping know that they're chasing us now? I don't know. Xiaoping must have his own secrets. We don't need to ask too much. Indeed, the most important thing now is to strengthen ourselves. Otherwise, we'll always let Xiaoping help us. Yes, let's go hunt zombies now and get school points. We can't waste time here. Jiang Yaru and the others were discussing. They didn't intend to stay where they were. They walked into the distance and continued to hunt zombies. The Corpse Mountain Range was vast, at least thousands of kilometers wide. There were large mountains, valleys, rivers, plains, and so on. The terrain was complex. At this time, Xiaoping left Jiang Yaru and the others and set off toward the depths of the Corpse Mountain Range. The deeper they went into the Corpse Mountain Range, the denser the Shi and the stronger the zombies, skeletons, and so on. It was said that at the end of the Corpse mountain range, there was another wider space where even more terrifying demons lived. There would be Yiksha, Azura, and other demons that could only be dealt with by experts above the Martial Master realm. And the Corpse mountain range was just the entrance to this vast space. System, what can stop the tracking of a seeking bird? Xiaoping asked. The system replied, you can take the concealing chi pill worth 1,000 hatred points. This pill can hide the aura of your body for a day, but the aura of your clothes can't be hidden. It is recommended that the host discard it and change into other clothes. Exchange, Xiaoping immediately said. He had stored a lot of nutrient drinks in his interspatial ring, as well as many new clothes. These were all prepared beforehand. He was not worried that he would not be able to find anything else after taking off this set of clothes. With a ding sound, a gray pill immediately fell into Xiaoping's hand. There are too many people in Su Huajian's group. There are at least 13 of them, and all of them are in the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm. If we fight them head-on, it will not be worth it. Xiaoping's eyes flickered as he clenched his fists. However, if I can advance to Fighter 7 Heaven Realm and clear all 7 acupoints, reaching the realm of a high-rank fighter, then it will be much easier to deal with these people. I need to find a place to go into seclusion for a few days and break through. He had obtained 2 or 3 Dragon Tiger Rui pills and was confident that he could use these pills to break through. However, even if it's just a temporary closed-door training, I still need to cause trouble for those people. Xiaoping moved and immediately changed into a new set of clothes. Then he tore the old clothes into pieces and divided them into more than 10 pieces. Thus, he left his footprints in the nearby mountains. Some left a piece of clothes in the depths of the valley. Some left a big tomb where the zombie king lived. Some left a piece on the steep mountain peak. Some left a piece in the black swamp. And some left a piece in the river where piranhas were hidden, constantly confusing the other party's vision. After doing all this, Xiaoping clapped his hands and left. After walking for dozens of kilometers, he finally found a remote valley. Oh, this place is not bad. I didn't expect that there would be such a lake in a godforsaken place like the gloomy Corpse mountain range. Coming to this nameless valley, Xiaoping found that there was a lake in the valley. The lake water was clear and the surroundings exuded a fresh smell. There was a faint fragrance of flowers. Compared to the black water of the other rivers in the gloomy Corpse mountain range, this place was simply heaven. He touched the lake water. It contained cold energy and gathered yin qi. However, it was still bearable. Even for a fighter, this lake was a good place for cultivation. It was completely possible to borrow the cold energy of the lake water to stimulate the body and stimulate the body's potential, speeding up the cultivation speed. This should be the so-called ice lake. I didn't expect to find such a good place in this place. Xiaoping smiled. Not bad. I'll temporarily cultivate in this place. He also felt that this place had rich heaven and earth spiritual qi. Moreover, this place was hidden, very suitable for his cultivation. Whoosh! Xiaoping went deep into the valley and found a cave. He even moved a huge rock to block the entrance of the cave. This could be considered as a temporary residence. Even if others blocked this place, they wouldn't be able to find him for a while. He entered the cave and sat down cross-legged. He took the Dragon Tiger Rui pill and began closed-door training. At this time, Xiaoping was comfortably in closed-door training. Su Huajian and the others came to the front of a big underground tomb. They guarded the entrance of the cave and immediately became a little hesitant. Something's wrong. A senior seriously stared at the cave entrance. Brother Su, are you sure that little bastard Xiaoping entered this big tomb? I can sense that this tomb is not simple. There's at least a Corpse King existence. The Corpse Kings in the gloomy Corpse Mountains all had the strength of the 9th heaven of the martial warrior realm. They were invulnerable and could fight 5 martial artists of the same level. They even had poison in their bodies. Once they were infected by the poison, if they were not treated in time, they would immediately be poisoned and infected into a zombie. It could be said that the strength of a Corpse King was equally terrifying. If there was no need, they would not provoke it. Don't worry, there's definitely no mistake. Su Jianhua was full of confidence. Even the seeking bird sensed that the kid's aura in this big tomb. So there must be. He probably entered the big tomb to find some treasure. Although according to his strength, entering this big tomb is courting death. How to put it, this kid is very strange. He has many secrets. Maybe he is confident that he can hide from the Corpse King's perception and obtain great benefits. He guessed. Brother Su is right. This kid is indeed very strange. What's there to be afraid of? We have so many experts of the ninth heaven of the martial warrior realm here. One punch from each of us is enough to kill that Corpse King. Why should we be afraid of this big tomb zombie? That's right, that's right. Just sweep over and kill that little bastard Xiaoping and the Corpse King together. TSK. It is said that the Corpse King's tomb also has a lot of treasures. Maybe we can kill 3 birds with 1 stone and obtain supreme benefits. More than a dozen senior students discussed and saw each other's greed. Chapter 328. Damn, we got tricked. We got tricked. What's going on with this tomb? Didn't they say that there was only 1 Corpse King in each tomb? Why did 5 or 6 appear all at once? Did they all come here for a meeting? Hurry up and run. What's there to talk about? If these 5 or 6 Corpse Kings catch up to us, we're finished. Where's that bastard Xiaoping? Where's that bastard? Why can't we find him? We only found a piece of his shirt, nothing. He's not even here. Half an hour later, a group of seniors ran out of the tomb. Their faces were filled with panic and blood flowed out of their bodies. They were beaten black and blue. Some were poisoned. Their faces were black and their eyes were green. They were about to turn into zombies. Quick, 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 take the antidote pill. If you're late, you'll turn into a zombie. A senior quickly took out a bottle of antidote pill and gave it to the poisoned senior. The poisoned senior quickly took it to relieve the poison in his body. This was the pill that they often went to Een Corpse mountain range. If they didn't have the antidote pill, once they were poisoned, they would be completely dead. Luckily, they were prepared. Brother Su, what's going on? Didn't you say that Xiaoping was in the tomb? Why don't we see him? A senior said unhappily. They thought that they could sweep through the tomb and easily kill the Corpse Kings. Who would have thought that after entering the tomb, they would be ambushed by 5 or 6 Corpse Kings? They were beaten up and ran out. If they were a bit slower, they would have become food for the Corpse Kings. Well, he probably appeared in this tomb before and even fought with the zombies here, leaving behind a piece of his shirt. Su Jianhua's expression was awkward, but he still explained, "You guys know that although the seeking bird can find the aura of humans, it can't tell if the person is there or not. After all, they are birds and don't have the intelligence of humans." The other seniors were helpless. They understood that it wasn't the seeking bird's fault. It could indeed find the enemy's aura and also found a piece of Xiaoping's shirt. But he had already left, so they couldn't blame the seeking bird. Damn, Xiaoping was lucky this time, but next time it'll be that bastard's death. The senior said viciously. Since things had already turned out like this, they could only endure. 2 to 3 hours later, they arrived at a forest. There were white trees all around, densely packed together. The surroundings were filled with gray fog, and it was eerie. Brother Su, is it really here? A senior student expressed his doubts. This is the famous bone forest. The trees that grow here are called bone trees. It's simply a forest of death. Going in there is no different from courting death. No matter how stupid that kid is, he wouldn't foolishly come into this forest to die, right? Su Jianhua hesitated for a moment and looked at the seeking bird in his hand. The seeking bird squeaked and pointed forward, as if saying that it was inside, right here. His expression immediately became firm. That's right, it should be this place. Although the bone forest is a bit dangerous, it is said that there are bone secret treasures in the depths of the forest, which have great benefits for cultivation. Once you take it, you'll be able to break through immediately. It won't be a problem for you to reach the ninth heaven of the martial artist realm. That brat knows that he has offended us. He will definitely search for all sorts of treasures to increase his strength like a madman. I reckon that no matter where he goes, he will take risks. Su Jianhua speculated confidently. Indeed, Brother Su's words are very reasonable. After offending us, the brat will naturally be extremely afraid. Of course, he will take risks everywhere. Just now, he even went to the Corpse King's cemetery. Even if he goes to the Bone Forest, it's not a big deal. A mere fifth heaven of the martial artist realm, Trash dares to enter the Bone Forest. Don't tell me that we seniors don't dare to go. That's right, it's just a few bone trees. Wait for me to tear it down. Once we see that Xia Ping, kill him immediately. There's no need to be polite with him. The group of senior students nodded, expressing that Su Jianhua's words were very reasonable. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. As soon as the voice fell, Su Jianhua took the lead and immediately rushed into the Bone Forest. Half an hour later, they were so scared that they peed their pants. One by one, they covered their heads and ran out crazily. Behind them, a large group of white poisonous bees followed, covering the sky and covering the earth like a cloud. After running for more than 10 kilometers, the white poisonous bees stopped chasing Su Jianhua and the others and slowly flew back. One of them had a few big bumps on his face. He looked like a Buddha and did not look like a human anymore. On the other hand, Su Jianhua's mouth was like a sausage. Even his breathing was a little leaky. We are so unlucky. Why do we encounter a group of bone poisonous bees? These bone poisonous bees are incredible. They are extremely poisonous, and there are many of them. They are born with yin qi and are not afraid of death. If we were bitten by 10 bone poisonous bees, we might even die on the spot. Fortunately, our martial arts are high and our escape speed is fast. Otherwise, we would definitely die. The group of senior students had a lingering fear. They hurriedly consumed antidotes to alleviate the poison in their bodies. Otherwise, they would definitely be killed by the bone poisonous bees just now. Brother Su, what exactly is going on? Didn't they say that Xia Ping was definitely in there? Why do we only find a shoe in there? A senior student cried out in grief and indignation. They had painstakingly barged into this dangerous forest, but they did not see anything. They only found a shoe left behind by Xia Ping. One can imagine how angry they were. If they could catch Xia Ping, it would be fine. But now, they did not find anything. They did not even see his shadow. Hearing this, Su Jianhua felt that he was very innocent. He said, "What can I do?" The seeking bird said that he was in there. I was also tricked. The other senior students were helpless. Indeed, Su Jianhua was also a victim. Moreover, his injuries were not much lighter than theirs. Look at his lips. They were swollen like sausages. Damn stupid bird. If it dares to find the wrong place next time, I will roast it. A senior student stared at the seeking bird fiercely. The seeking bird was very intelligent. It was not inferior to humans. It hurriedly stretched out its claws and patted its chest, indicating that it would definitely not find the wrong place next time. Rest assured, it would do its job properly. Searching for a scent was just child's play. It was just a piece of cake. Let's go. Don't waste time. We have to find that Xia Ping as soon as possible. I can feel that we will find him soon. No matter how fast that kid runs, he can't be faster than us. Su Jianhua bared his teeth. Yes. Chapter 329. A day later, under the tracking of the seeking bird, Su Jianhua and the others arrived at the Black River, the poisonous valley, the rotten swamp, and other extremely dangerous places. They were all in a sorry state, and several seniors were seriously injured, falling to the ground and foaming at the mouth. Don't stop me. I must kill this damn bird. One of the seniors went crazy and tried to kill the seeking bird, but he was stopped by the surrounding seniors who grabbed his arm. Chen Wu, don't be too impulsive. The seeking bird didn't do it on purpose. That's right, that's right. Why bother with a bird? Several seniors tried to dissuade him. Senior Chen Wu went crazy and said, "Impulsive my ass. Look at what this damn bird has done. Where did it lead us? The dead river, the poisonous valley, the rotten swamp, and so on. Every place is extremely dangerous, and it's almost certain death. We were chased by piranhas in the river, poisonous corpses in the valley, and we almost drowned in the swamp. I've never experienced such a terrifying adventure in my 20 years of life. How was this chasing the enemy? It's clearly sending us to our deaths. Without a doubt, this damn bird must be a spy sent by that little bastard Xia Ping. It wants to indirectly kill us." He looked up to the sky and sighed. incomparably sad and indignant. There were also some older students who felt the same way. Today's adventure was probably the adventure of a lifetime. It was all the fault of this damned bird. If this damned bird hadn't randomly led the way, they wouldn't have been in such a miserable state. Brother Chun, calm down, you have to calm down. Why are you angry at a bird? There's no need at all. Another bald senior tried to dissuade him. I believe it didn't do it on purpose. Otherwise, we would have started fighting before we found Xiaoping. Calm down. How do you want me to calm down? If this continues, I'm afraid we'll die before Xiaoping dies. Chunwu was furious. He had never experienced such a thing in his life. Look, the seeking bird is flying away again. It said that this time, it will definitely find Xiaoping. He is just up ahead. A senior shouted, pointing at the seeking bird flying in the sky. Look! Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The group quickly followed. They had chased to so many places, so it was probably true this time. However, when they arrived at the place where the seeking bird was, their faces all turned green. Seeking bird, you said that Xiaoping is down there. Senior Chun Wui's face darkened. He stared at the bottomless abyss below the cliff, and the sound of howling wind could be heard all around him. The corner of Su Jianhua's mouth twitched. The seeking bird nodded proudly. It pecked with its beak and pointed to the bottom of the abyss, indicating that Xiaoping was definitely there. As long as it jumped down, it would be able to find him. Jumpy Grandpa. The bald senior student couldn't take it anymore and immediately cursed. Chinwu, this bird really isn't a good bird. It's definitely a spy sent by Xiaoping. It won't rest until it kills us. Roast it immediately. If they really jumped down according to the seeking bird's instructions, all of them would have to meet their ancestors. He was so angry that he wanted to strangle the seeking bird. I understand now. That kid must have known that we used the seeking bird to track him down. After so many things, Su Jianhua finally understood. He said in a faint tone, "That's why that brat threw his things around to mislead us." Obviously, he succeeded. But how did that brat know that we used the seeking bird to find him? Could there be a traitor among us? Don't talk nonsense. This is the first time we've seen him. How could we be his spies? That's right. Don't talk nonsense without evidence. Let's not care about how that brat knew. Since he knew we had the seeking bird and still did this, doesn't that mean we won't be able to find him in the Evil Corpse Mountain Range? Even if we die, we must find him. He played us like fools and almost caused us to die in such a dangerous place. If we don't take revenge, are we still human? No one can play us without paying the price. That little bastard must die. The group of senior students discussed among themselves. Each of them was filled with endless anger. Their hatred for Xiaoping was monstrous. Originally, they didn't have any enmity with Xiaoping. It was only because of Su Huajian's invitation and the large amount of benefits that they agreed to chase after Xiaoping. But now it was different. After being played by Xiaoping, they all wanted to kill him. Su Jianhua's face was gloomy. The other party knew that he had the seeking bird and deliberately did this to disrupt their tracking. In other words, they had no way of finding Xiaoping. This was a bit troublesome. If he didn't kill Xiaoping in the Evil Corpse Mountain Range and return to Yanhuan University, he still wouldn't have a chance. Beep beep. Suddenly, Su Jianhua's communication device rang. He glanced at it. It was a friend he knew. He immediately answered. The other party's voice came, "Brother Su, what are you guys doing somewhere else? Hurry up and come over. We found the mysterious een fruit in a valley. It seems it will mature in a day or two." Mature soon. Hearing this, Su Jianhua and the others were shocked. If Xiaoping was here, he would definitely be shocked. The mysterious een fruit was a rare fruit of heaven and earth. It was born in the mysterious een land. It needed 500 years to absorb the een chi of heaven and earth, as well as the essence of the sun and moon to grow. A mysterious een fruit gathered a large amount of life essence. At the same time, it was also the main ingredient of the mysterious een pill. Consuming such a mysterious een pill could increase the probability of breaking through to the martial master realm by 20 to 30%. Right now, Su Jianhua and the others were all at the peak of the martial disciple realm. They were only a step away from advancing to the martial master realm. If they could consume a mysterious een pill, they might be able to become true martial master experts. Once they could advance to the martial master realm, their status would immediately change dramatically. They could even become true elite students. They would truly stand out. No matter which force they went to, they would become important people. So when they heard the words mysterious ink fruit, they all held their breath. How is this possible? Didn't they say it would take more than 10 days to mature? How could it be so fast? Su Jianhua frowned. The other party said in a deep voice, I don't know. Maybe something happened in the Evil Corpse mountain range. It caused the yin qi to become so dense, causing the mysterious yin fruit to mature earlier. This is a bit troublesome. In short, you guys come over immediately. Don't be followed. Otherwise, if others find out, it will definitely cause a bloody fight. His face was grave. One must know that they were not the only martial disciple ninth heaven experts in the Evil Corpse mountain range. There were also other senior students and even some martial arts experts who had been out for God knows how long. If those experts found out, it would definitely cause a fight. Let's go. Su Jianhua hung up the communication device. He could not care about dealing with Xia Ping now. It was more important for the mysterious yin fruit to mature. If he could obtain this fruit, he could immediately become a martial master expert. At that time, it would be much easier to kill Xia Ping. Chapter 330. At this moment, in a cave somewhere in the gloomy Corpse mountain range, 2 to 3 days passed in a flash. Xia Ping had been hiding in this cave to cultivate in seclusion. He had taken 3 dragon tiger rui dan in succession. Immediately, these 3 dan produced a huge medicinal power, causing the true qi in his body to increase crazily. Soon, the 6th acupoint was filled with true qi, almost reaching the limit. Originally, Xia Ping thought that these 3 dragon tiger rui dan would allow him to reach the peak of the 6th heaven of the martial warrior realm. However, he had underestimated the medicinal power of the dragon tiger rui dan. This kind of dan was extremely precious. Those who were not from the king's clan could not afford it. Moreover, it contained the power of the dragon tiger. It was very violent. If a martial artist did not have a strong foundation, they would not be able to withstand this medicinal power. It would cause damage to their meridians. Only the direct descendants of the king's clan, like LV Weihai, could afford this kind of dan. However, now that this dan had fallen into Xia Ping's hands, it could be considered as a great help to him. Now, Xia Ping operated the pure yang immortal secret art and frantically refined the medicinal power in his body. He felt that the true qi in his 6th acupoint had reached the limit. It was as if water had filled a pool and was about to overflow. Bang! At this moment, his body trembled. The true qi in the 6 acupoints rotated like a whirlpool. In an instant, it was connected. A door was finally smashed open by the flood. The 7th heaven of the martial warrior realm. Xia Ping immediately knew that the 7th acupoint in his body had finally been opened under the power of the true qi. His whole body was filled with explosive power. The true qi filled his whole body. The 6 acupoints were also circulating at this moment. It was as if they had formed 2 triangles. They resonated with the 7th acupoint and produced a huge power in the dark. Pali-pala. Xia Ping stood up in an instant. The muscles and bones in his body were vibrating. It was like the roar of thunder. The blood in his body was also surging like a river. The power continued to gush out. With a bang, he punched the air, and a series of explosions occurred. From his shoulder, elbow, and fist, the air produced a series of explosions, and the force of the qi vibrated. The mountain wall in front was easily penetrated. Immediately, a huge pit appeared. Even the gravel turned into powder. There was not even a sound. I have finally reached the advanced martial warrior realm. Xia Ping lamented. After clearing the 7th acupoint and reaching Fighter 7 Dan, he could feel his strength increasing by more than 2-fold. The Jinqi in his body seemed to have an additional powerful engine. Every move he made now was filled with tyrannical power. Even at a distance of 300 to 400 meters, it was enough to turn a raging bull into minced meat. His might was terrifying to the extreme. Even an ordinary martial artist of the 9th heaven might not be a match for Xia Ping. Congratulations to the host for gaining 30,000 hatred points. At this time, the system's voice sounded. Xiaoping's eyes flashed. He immediately sensed the information from the system and found that these hatred points were provided by Su Jianhua and the others. It was estimated that the trap he set worked, causing them to be very miserable, and everyone's hatred points soared. Su Jianhua, soon we will meet again. Xiaoping clenched his fists as a cold light flashed in his eyes. He was being chased by Su Jianhua and the others, so he could only temporarily avoid them. But from now on, those people might not be his opponents. If Su Jianhua dared to appear in front of him, he would definitely be able to kill him. System, where's Su Jianhua and the others right now? Spend the hatred points and inquire immediately. Xiaoping asked. The system replied, yes, host. With a bang, a message immediately poured into Xiaoping's mind. What? Profound fruit. Those guys can actually find such a strange fruit of heaven and earth, and it will mature after a while. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He knew how precious the profound fruit was. It was estimated that even a martial master realm powerhouse would snatch it if they knew about it. Ordinary martial artist realm powerhouses would be even crazier. Great! I didn't expect to get such a strange fruit. Such a treasure must be mine. This is also a little interest from them. Xiaoping immediately decided to snatch it. Treasures like this, even if Su Jianhua didn't have a feud with him, he had to fight for it. Not to mention that Su Jianhua and the others were chasing him. They already had a life and death feud, so it was even more impossible for him to let these treasures fall into the hands of others. Whoosh! Thinking of this, Xiaoping could no longer sit still. His figure flickered, and he wanted to leave the cave. But when he moved the stone away from the cave, he immediately sensed more than a dozen auras appearing outside. What's going on? Xiaoping immediately looked over and saw more than a dozen beautiful girls bathing in the lake. They were like mermaids swimming around in the lake, just like a painting. Hee, Sister Su, our luck is really good. I didn't expect to find such a clean lake in such a godforsaken place like the gloomy Corpse mountain range. Although the water here is a bit cold and has an icy chi, which is fatal for ordinary people, it is just right for us warriors. Hee, the most important thing is that we can bathe. In the gloomy Corpse mountain range, I don't know how many zombies and skeletons we have killed. After staying here for 5 or 6 days, my whole body is greasy. If I don't bathe, I will go crazy. A group of beautiful girls were chatting and constantly swimming. The icy chi in the lake was simply unable to do anything to them. It was all expelled by the chi on their body. And the leader was a beautiful girl. Among the many beautiful girls, she stood out like a crane in a flock of chickens. She had a peerless aura and a pair of eyes that seemed to be able to speak, making people unable to look directly at them. Xiaoping immediately recognized that this was Su Ji, who was ranked second in the freshman ranking competition. Who is it? Su Ji was very sensitive. She seemed to feel some kind of gaze and suddenly cried out. Her eyes revealed a trace of coldness, as if she felt the chi on Xiaoping's body. Then she slapped towards the void behind her with a palm that contained a strong force. This was the power of the 8th heaven of the martial artist realm. Xiaoping also made a move and threw a punch. Bang! 2 tyrannical forces collided and the force shot out in all directions. The ground was immediately blasted into a huge, deep pit and gravel flew in all directions. What's going on? Someone was peeping and was discovered by Sister Su, who has such big guts to actually dare to peep at us bathing. Aren't they afraid of death? Sisters, quickly put on your clothes. Otherwise, we will suffer a big loss. Catch that bastard. Catch that pervert. I've never suffered such a big loss in my life. After we catch him, immediately confiscate his tools. A group of girls exclaimed. Their movements were very fast. They jumped out of the lake and quickly put on their clothes. When the smoke and dust dispersed, all of them stared angrily at the strange man who appeared in front of them. Su Ji's movements were also very fast. She quickly put on her clothes and wrapped the important parts of her body. Her beautiful eyes revealed a murderous look. Her body was like a little bird as she landed on the smooth marble floor. Chapter 331. TSK. I didn't expect to have this kind of benefit after coming out of closed-door training. Good figure. Xiaoping touched his chin and looked at the group of women. All of them were above average, with exquisite curves. Especially Su Ji, she was simply a generation seductress, many times better looking than in the photo. Her body exuded a seductive aura, incomparably charming. If placed in ancient times, she would probably be the type of character like Su Daji or Yang Guifei. Good figure. Hearing this, the group of women went mad. This hateful pervert came to the lake to peep at them bathing. Not only did he not recognize the wrong person, but he also commented on their good figure. He was too arrogant. They had never seen such an arrogant pervert in their life. He was so lawless. When did you appear here to peep at us? Su Ji's pretty face revealed a trace of killing intent. She was very surprised because before coming to the lake, they had already explored the surrounding area, and there was no one here. But this kid appeared silently. If not for her extremely keen perception of sight, perhaps she wouldn't have found out that this kid appeared in this place. If she didn't find out, they would have suffered a loss in vain. They wouldn't even know that the other party had taken advantage of them. Hearing this, Xiaoping waved his hand and said, "You misunderstood me. I am not a pervert. I just happened to appear here, and you happen to be bathing here. Everything is just a coincidence. And I'm not peeping. I was just watching you bathing. I was afraid to disturb you, so I didn't make a sound." He showed a righteous look, wanting to correct a point. Fart. A woman stood up, half dead with anger. "Your behavior is clearly peeping." The woman next to her blushed and trembled. "What do you mean I was afraid to disturb them when I bathing? So I didn't make a sound." This was the first time they heard someone say such a shameless act of peeping in such a fresh and refined way. It was simply shameless to the extreme. Su Ji's face was also very dark. She felt that this bastard's face was not ordinary thick. She estimated that even a laser couldn't penetrate it. If this is not peeping, then what is? I think I can explain this behavior. For example, we can switch roles. Xiaoping said carelessly. For example, the people bathing in the lake are all muscular men, and a woman accidentally came here. Do you think that woman is peeping? This shouldn't be considered. A girl was stunned and answered subconsciously. Xiaoping spread his hands and said, "That's it." By the same logic, why is it not voyeurism for a woman to watch a group of men bathing, but it is voyeurism for a man to watch a group of women bathing? This is purely a misunderstanding of concepts, an old and outdated concept that should be swept into the garbage heap of history. To be honest, it's an era where men and women are equal. You're all students of Yanwang University, representing the most advanced class of mankind. It's hilarious that you still have such old-fashioned ideas. Speaking of which, it's just a glance. It's not like I'll lose a piece of flesh. Why are you so angry? He guided her patiently. A girl with big eyes was fooled. She subconsciously nodded and said, "That's right, big sister. This guy seems to have a point. Being looked at won't hurt you." The other girls were also a little confused. They actually felt that this bastard's words made sense. Stupid. Su Ji was so angry that she knocked the girl's head. Don't listen to this shameless rogue's bluff. He's clearly twisting words and forcing logic. That's what a pervert is like. The girl with big eyes felt wronged and lowered her head. Su Ji stared at Xiaoping, clenched her fist, and exuded a tyrannical martial arts aura. No matter how you twist words and force logic today, don't even think of running away. I'll make you stay. Big Sister Su, you're right. This is not an ordinary thief. He's a pervert with a glib tongue. His mouth is too powerful. I don't know how many people he's fooled. Maybe there are also many ignorant girls who have been fooled and defiled by this bastard. If that's the case, he's not only a pervert, but also a pervert who does all kinds of evil. Who cares about equality between men and women? Let's catch him first and beat him to vent our anger. That's right. Let's catch this bastard first and beat him into a pig's head. Sisters, don't hold back. Beat him first and then confiscate his tools. Surround this kid immediately. Don't let him escape. A group of women shouted one after another. They all made their moves. All of them are martial arts experts. Among them, there is no lack of martial artists' sixth heaven. It can be said that each of them is a martial arts elite. In the blink of an eye, their palms slapped out. A heavy palm print appeared in the air. This kind of thick palm power is enough to split mountains. If an ordinary martial artist is hit, it is estimated that they will immediately fall to the ground with serious injuries and cough up blood. Xiaoping also made a move. His hands turned into a circle. Like Tai Chi, he operated the Northern Dark Body Protection technique. A tyrannical, true energy immediately covered his whole body, forming an impenetrable protective shield. Bang, bang, bang. Suddenly, more than a dozen tyrannical palm power slapped over and fiercely bombarded Xiaoping's body. However, they were instantly digested and absorbed, and even produced a tyrannical countershock. With a boom, these women were shocked. How could they have thought that their attacks not only had no effect on Xiaoping, but even this force was bounced back? Caught off guard, their whole body was blown away by this force. The clothes on their bodies were immediately shattered. One by one, they fell to the ground, revealing their spring scenery. How is this possible? A group of women were shocked. They now really realized that this kid is not only an ordinary perverted thief, but also a strong perverted thief. Sure enough, the figure is indeed good. It's much more exciting than watching some artistic action movies. Xiaoping said with a smile, looking up and down at the graceful figure of this group of women. Artistic action movies? Hearing this, all of their faces turned black. This guy's dog mouth can't spit out ivory. His mouth is so cheap. He actually compared them with that kind of artist. It's too hateful. But now they can't fight back against this bastard because their clothes are all torn. One by one, they jumped into the lake and temporarily hid their bodies. Otherwise, they would be taken advantage of by this kid. Although it's big enough now. Who are you? What's your name? The only one who didn't make a move was Suji. She stared at Xiaoping and felt that this man was very unusual. Even an ordinary freshman was not so terrifying. He might be a senior student of Yinhuang University. Chapter 332. Zhong family, Zhong Yuan. Suji's beautiful eyes revealed a trace of coldness. So that's how it is. Royal family, Zhong family, descendant of a royal family. No wonder you're so unbridled and openly did such a shameless thing. Is it because you have the backing of a royal family? She revealed a look of understanding. After all, she was also born into a royal family. Naturally, she knew how arrogant and insufferably arrogant the descendants of a royal family were. She reckoned that this Zhong Yuan was also one of those good-for-nothings who relied on the glory of his ancestors. I didn't expect you to know about the Zhong family. That makes things easier. Xiaoping raised his nose to the sky and said in a very domineering manner, "To be honest, people like me who come from a royal family are born to be nobles. Being able to watch you bathe is already giving you face. It's your honor. If I could take a fancy to some of you girls, wouldn't that be like flying up a branch and transforming into a phoenix? I think you should seize this opportunity to curry favor with me. If you miss this opportunity, there won't be another one." He revealed an insufferably arrogant appearance. "You." Suji clenched her fist. She wished she could immediately rush forward and beat this bastard up. She wanted to punch his hateful face a few hundred times. She had never seen such a shameless person in her life. After doing such a bad thing, he still dared to say that it was their honor and asked them to curry favor with him. Who did this bastard think he was? Being born into a royal family made him so arrogant and condescending. Damn it, I didn't expect a man from a royal family to be this kind of people. Although Sister Sue is also a member of a royal family, she's not as domineering as him. He's simply a scum. With so many royal families, there will always be a few scum. A piece of rat *T spoils a pot of soup. This Zhong Yuan is not a good thing. He looks like a dog, but he has a golden exterior and is rotten inside. The group of girls also clenched their teeth. They had seen many men, but they had never seen this kind of man. This was the first time they had seen such an annoying man. He was simply the best of the best. This bastard had probably seen many vain girls, but he thought that all the girls in the world were like this. Each and every one of them would come forward to curry favor with him. What a joke. Even if they had to marry a pig or a dog, they They would never give themselves to this bastard. Sister Sue, don't listen to that bastard's nonsense. He's not Zhongyuan at all. The girl with big eyes immediately said. I suddenly remembered. He's Xia Ping, the first place in the freshman ranking competition. She took out her smartwatch, and with a ding sound, Xia Ping's image was immediately projected. What? Seeing this virtual projection, the group of girls were dumbfounded. They never thought that this kid was actually the legendary Xia Ping, the guy who had surpassed their elder sister, the top freshman. How was this possible? Didn't they say that Xia Ping was only at the fifth heaven of the martial warrior realm? But looking at his true chi now, he is at least at the seventh celestial layer, a girl said. The big-eyed girl was also a little puzzled and said, Yeah, it's because it's strange that I couldn't think of it for a while. But this guy's appearance is definitely Xia Ping, exactly the same as in the photo. Bastard. Hearing these words, Su Ji clenched her fist. She was so angry that she was about to explode. How could she not know that she had been fooled by this bastard? If she foolishly went to find trouble with the Zhong family, she would probably fall into this kid's evil trick. At that time, it would cause a dispute between the Su family and the Zhong family, and the trouble would be big. Have I been exposed so quickly? Xia Ping touched his chin and said with a little regret. His reputation was still too big. He originally thought that he could trick others. You actually dare to fool me. Go to hell. Su Ji clenched her teeth and struck out with her palm. A terrifying force erupted. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In midair, a dense palm shadow appeared. It even contained a power that could confuse one's mind. It carried a trace of fragrance, causing Xia Ping to be in a trance, as if his mind had been hooked away. This was a trace of the mysterious power of Su Ji's demon, Fox bloodline. It had the power to confuse one's mind. This mental power was simply 10 times more terrifying than LV Weihai's. Powerful. Xia Ping operated the pure, yang immortal art, immediately isolating himself from this mental power's confusion. At the same time, he struck out with his fist. Like a shark leaping out of the water, it was fierce, decisive, and powerful. Bang! The two forces collided, and an explosion occurred in midair. The ground was shaken by the terrifying force, and a deep pit appeared. Crushed stones flew in all directions, sand and dust billowed, and dozens of cracks appeared on the ground. Su Ji also felt this tyrannical power. She couldn't help but take a few steps back. Her beautiful eyes were a little shocked. This palm technique of hers could confuse a martial artist's mind. Usually, an ordinary martial artist would be defeated by her palm without knowing what happened. The only people who could resist her mental power were those with King's bloodline. However, this kid didn't seem to belong to any King's clan. Yet, he was able to resist her attack, and even counterattack calmly. This was a bit powerful. I didn't expect that my identity would be seen through by you guys. Then, I won't play with you guys anymore. See you next time. Xia Ping, however, borrowed this power to quickly retreat and flew away. He also didn't want to continue playing with this group of women because he had more important things to do. According to the system's prediction, the profound Een fruit was about to ripen. He couldn't continue to waste time here. Don't even think about running. How could Su Ji just watch as Xia Ping ran away? She immediately chased after him. However, she didn't know how powerful Xia Ping's Kuan Peng steps was. His speed was incomparably fast. With a single step, he traversed over 100 meters. It was impossible for her to catch up. In just a few breaths, Xia Ping's figure disappeared from the valley. Damn it! Soon, Su Ji couldn't sense Xia Ping's figure anymore. She immediately became furious, but she had no other choice but to return to the valley. Sister Su, did you find that perverted thief? I definitely didn't find him. Otherwise, Sister Su would have brought him here. I didn't expect that perverted thief to be Xia Ping. He's too despicable, shameless, and filthy. That Xia Ping is a beast. I've long heard that this bastard went through the school's back door in order to become the #1 freshman. This is already considered a moral corruption. But now, he actually came to peep at us bathing. He even wanted to pretend to be Zhong Yuan and divert the trouble. Shameless to the extreme. Fortunately, we exposed his identity in time. Otherwise, if we were foolishly fooled by him, we would have been fooled. We must go to the school's forum and expose this bastard's shameless behavior so that the public will spurn him. This kind of person appearing in Yanhuang University is simply a disgrace to the school. The group of girls were extremely angry. Chapter 333. At night, somewhere in the Evil Corpse mountain range. Not even a blade of grass grew here. Everywhere was bare. The ground was covered with blood-colored soil. The air was filled with a gray haze. It was extremely depressing. If an ordinary person appeared here, they would not be able to hold on for a long time. 10 seconds later, they would be poisoned and fall to the ground. The environment here was extremely harsh. However, Su, Jianhua, and the others came to this valley. They were not afraid of the poisonous haze at all. They operated their true qi, expelling the poisonous haze from their bodies. Their faces were full of joy as they came to the center of the valley. In the center of the valley, there was a gray plant growing. There was not a single leaf on the whole body. It was bare like a human skeleton, but on the branch of this plant hung a gray fruit. This gray fruit had a circle of strange lines. It was surrounded by a layer of silver light. The moonlight from the sky fell down. It seemed to be absorbed. The moonlight was like the waves of the ocean. The scene was astonishing. Even if it was a person who did not know, seeing this scene, they would know that this gray fruit was definitely a rare treasure. Great! The profound Een fruit is really about to ripen. A senior student was extremely happy. It was not a waste of our hard work for so long. We even spent a lot of points to exchange for a lot of treasures to cultivate this strange tree, speeding up the ripening of the profound Een fruit. After working so hard for so long, there's also a harvest. Once we get this profound Een fruit, we can immediately take it back to the school, spend points, and ask the school teachers to help us refine the profound Een pill. If we can get the profound Een pill, breaking through to the martial master realm is just around the corner. At that time, we will all be elite students of Yanhuang University. We can stand out. A group of senior students looked at the fruit in the center of the valley with incomparable desire. They were very clear what kind of treasure this was. Even in the school, points could not exchange for a diluted treasure. If it appeared, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. It was unknown how many experts would come snatch it. Fortunately, this place was the Evil Corpse mountain range. Experts above the martial master realm could not enter, so they had this kind of opportunity to be able to obtain such a fortuitous encounter. Su Jianhua suppressed the excitement in his heart and said in a deep voice, "Everyone be careful. When the profound Een fruit ripens, there will definitely be an astonishing scene. It will attract who knows how many corpse kings. At that time, these corpse kings will be our opponents." He was very cautious. "I'm not worried about the corpse king. It's just a bunch of undead creatures. There's a limit to how strong they are. What I'm most worried about is that the news of the valley will leak out. If the other students find out, I'm afraid there will be a bloodbath. I've already observed the surrounding area for more than 10 kilometers, and there isn't anyone around. After all, this place is remote, and there aren't many people around. It won't be so easy to bump into other seniors. I actually hope to meet that Xia Ping in this place. If that's the case, I can easily kill him and save so much time, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Haha, that's a good idea, but it's not realistic. If that Xia Ping accidentally came to this place and saw so many experts gathered here, he would have pissed his pants long ago. How would he dare to come forward? He's just a little freshman. So what if he's the number 1 among the new students? I can kill him with a single slap. I'll kill him like a dog. Speaking of which, I have another idea. Even if he couldn't find Xia Ping through the Seeking Bird, he could still find Xia Ping's friends. It was said that he had a few female confidants. As long as we capture those people, why would we need to worry about that kid not giving in? Not bad. That's a good idea. Why didn't we think of this just now? What a pity. But it's not too late. After we get the profound Een fruit, we'll go and capture those girls. At that time, no matter how strong that little bastard is, he will have to obediently give in, unless he wants his girlfriend to die. Many of the seniors discussed animatedly, and their eyes revealed a cruel look as they thought of many evil plans. Su Jianhua was very tempted. Just now, he had indeed taken a detour and was almost driven mad by that kid's tricks, so he didn't think of this for a while. But it was not too late now. After this matter was over, it would be Xia Ping's time to die. He absolutely couldn't escape. At this time, on a huge rock somewhere in the valley, a figure was hidden, blending into the surrounding scenery. This person was Xia Ping, who had just rushed over, and he had also heard these people's words. Sure enough, these people deserved to die. Xia Ping clenched his fists, and a deep, murderous aura appeared in the depths of his eyes. Humans didn't have the intention to harm the tiger, but the tiger would eat people's hearts. If these people didn't die, it would be his turn to be unlucky. However, he didn't make a move and was waiting for an opportunity. He also took out the moon's shooting bow from his spatial ring and calmed his mind. His mental power was highly concentrated, like a cheetah looking for an opportunity to kill. Look, the profound een fruit is about to ripen, a senior suddenly shouted. When the moon rose into the sky, it was also the most dazzling time. A silver beam of light descended from the sky, pouring into the profound een fruit. Walala, a silver light appeared in the surroundings, rolling like the sea and surging like the waves. The strange patterns on the profound een fruit's surface burst out with a silver radiance, as if it had turned into a silver gem. A strange fragrance filled the surroundings, filling the entire valley. Those who smelled this fragrance immediately felt their spirits rise, as if their martial cultivation had improved by a lot. Bang, bang, bang. At this moment, the soil near the gray tree immediately exploded, and terrifying cracks appeared. Immediately, 40 to 50 corpse kings jumped out, and a terrifying evil aura erupted, sweeping a radius of several kilometers. Each of them had the strength of the peak of the ninth heaven of the martial warrior realm. They all pounced over in a frenzy, their eyes red, because this profound een fruit was also an opportunity for them to break through, to advance to a higher realm, and even to break away from the shackles of the gloomy Corpse Mountain Range. Damn, these Corpse Kings are actually hiding underground. No wonder we didn't discover them. Hurry up and make a move. Otherwise, these Corpse Kings will snatch the profound een fruit. They're just a group of creatures that died long ago, and they dare to fight with the living for treasures? Kill them again. Seeing this situation, the faces of the group of senior students changed greatly. Don't be stingy. Take out the geomagnetic thunder immediately and blow up these Corpse Kings. Su Jianhua immediately shouted. He took out a black ball, pulled the fuse, and threw it over. The other senior students also did not hesitate, taking out their own geomagnetic thunder and throwing it over. Geomagnetic thunder. Xia Ping's pupil shrank. Before coming to the gloomy Corpse Mountain Range, he had also looked up some of the school's methods to deal with undead creatures, and one of them was a bomb like the geomagnetic thunder. Once it was detonated, it would immediately burst out hundreds of lightning, covering a radius of 1 kilometer. Its power was infinite, and after thousands of shocks, even a Corpse King would be blown to death. It could be said to be a powerful method to deal with undead creatures. But it was also very expensive. Such a geomagnetic thunder was worth 2,000 points, and ordinary students were not willing to exchange for it. Chapter 334. More than a dozen geomagnetic mines exploded at the same time. Thousands of lightning snakes appeared in the sky, winding in the dark night and emitting a terrifying aura as they bombarded the zombie kings. The zombie kings' eyes were filled with terror. They also felt that they were doomed, but facing such lightning power, they could not dodge at all, nor could they escape. Bang, bang, bang. The power of the lightning descended and smashed onto their heads. Screams rang out as their entire bodies were electrocuted into charcoal, turning into pieces. In just a few breaths, the 40 to 50 zombie kings that wanted to fight for the profound een fruit were all killed. Not a single one was left. This was the terrifying power of human technology. Even if individual strength was not a match for these zombie kings, these bombs were enough to easily kill them. However, this method was too expensive. Normal people could not afford it. Hurry up and pick the profound een fruit. These dozens of king corpses are just the vanguard. There will definitely be more king corpses that will be attracted over. At that time, we will be surrounded and we will die. Su Jianhua immediately shouted. The reason why they were willing to spend so many points to exchange for the geomagnetic thunder and instantly kill dozens of corpse kings was because they wanted to strike first and immediately snatch the profound Een fruit. When the time came, they would quickly escape and kill the corpse kings, catching them off guard and not able to snatch them in time. Now it seemed that it was indeed effective. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Hearing this, the three seniors closest to the center of the valley immediately rushed over. They were the fastest among the group of seniors, so they naturally shouldered the responsibility of obtaining the profound Een fruit. After all, they were fast and could escape quickly, so they would not be entangled by the other zombie kings. Haha, I got it. A hawk-nosed senior moved extremely quickly and plucked the profound Een fruit in an instant. Endless joy appeared on his face. Seeing this, Su Jianhua and the others were all overjoyed and relieved. In order to obtain the profound Een fruit, they had almost used up all their savings. If they still failed like this, it would be too tragic. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. At that moment, 3 black arrows suddenly appeared in the air. They shot over like shooting lights, tearing through the air and almost breaking through the sound barrier. Their speed was unbelievably fast. No, no, no. Dodge, dodge. Su Jianhua's senses were the sharpest, and a feeling of extreme danger spread through his body. His hairs stood on end, and he immediately yelled out, hoping to warn his 3 companions. But it was already too late. The 3 seniors had no idea what was going on. When they heard the noise, they only turned their heads to take a look. Bang! In that instant, the 3 arrows pierced through the 3 seniors standing in the middle of the valley. Huge bloody holes appeared on their foreheads, and blood dripped down from them. After the 3 arrows pierced through their skulls, they continued to fly into the distance with unparalleled power. With a dong sound, they flew for several hundred meters and immediately blasted 3 large holes in the mountain wall behind them, sending rocks flying in all directions. As for the 3 seniors who had their heads pierced through, they didn't even know what had happened before they died. Their eyes were wide open, and their pupils were filled with confusion, helplessness, and a hint of fear. With a plop, their corpses fell to the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust. Who was it? Who did it? Who's so daring to kill my people? Su Jianhua was instantly enraged. He was practically stamping his feet with rage, and his lungs were about to explode. Originally, their plan had been very successful. They would use the geomagnetic thunder to kill the group of corpse kings, then quickly snatch the profound Een fruit and escape. Then, everyone would happily consume the profound Een pill and advance to the martial master realm. But now, someone had suddenly appeared and killed 3 of his companions in an instant. One could imagine how furious he was right now. With a whoosh, Xiaoping also walked out from a large rock in the valley, appearing openly in front of these people. Xiaoping, the one who killed our people, is Xiaoping. One of the seniors had very sharp eyes and immediately recognized the person who had suddenly appeared to be Xiaoping. His eyes were filled with shock. He had never thought that Xiaoping would actually appear in this place. One had to know that they were just joking before. They didn't think that it would be such a coincidence to run into Xiaoping. Even if it was really such a coincidence, with this brat's strength, he wouldn't be able to escape in time. So how could he appear in front of them? But now, he really appeared, and even killed 3 of them with one move. His ferocity was monstrous. No way, it's really Xiaoping. This little bastard dares to appear in front of us. This is the guy who dares to kill our people. Why is he here? How can he have the strength to kill our people? Seeing Xiaoping appear, a group of people was shocked. They immediately recognized Xiaoping's appearance. It was estimated that even if this brat turned into ashes, they would still be able to recognize him. Their memories were too deep. Some people couldn't believe their eyes because Xiaoping was only in the 5th heaven of the martial artist realm before. He was just an ant that was not worth mentioning. But now, he could actually kill an expert in the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm with one arrow. His strength was so strong that even they felt threatened. This joke was too big. Don't even think about escaping, because I'm here to kill you. Xiaoping looked at this group of people indifferently, his body exuding a terrifying murderous aura. Escape? You think we will escape? Suddenly, a senior was infuriated. He's just a freshman. Even if he is the top freshman, he is only at the fifth heaven of the martial warrior realm. He is as weak as a chicken. With such strength, he wants to scare us away? Don't be too arrogant. Although I don't know what means you used to kill our 3 companions. Since you are here, don't think about leaving alive. This is not a school. No teacher can save you. We must settle accounts with him. He has caused us so much trouble before. The eyes of the senior students were filled with deep, murderous aura. They stared at Xiaoping covetously. As the saying goes, when enemies meet, their eyes turn red. This was the situation now, and Su Jianhua couldn't suppress the anger in his heart. Xiaoping. Su Jianhua's eyes were red, and he roared. You little bastard, how dare you appear here and kill my people? You're courting death. Do you know that you are courting death? No one in the world can save you. Boom. As soon as his voice fell, Su Jianhua immediately rushed forward. With a stomp of his feet, the ground cracked. His feet suddenly surged with a huge, explosive force. The power of the 9th heaven of the martial warrior realm instantly broke out. The distance between him and Xiaoping was only more than 100 meters, but with such a full sprint, he arrived in front of Xiaoping in just a few breaths. He exuded an aura like that of a devil, ready to devour people. Fierce Wind Fist. Chapter 335. As expected of Brother Su, he's too strong. Seeing Su Jianhua attack in an instant, many seniors were secretly shocked and impressed. After not seeing him for a while, it seemed that Su Jianhua's fist technique had become even more terrifying and had reached the perfect realm. The punch was like the wail of ghosts and the howl of wolves. The power of the cold and the power of the sun mixed together and exploded instantly. Such a force was enough to tear the earth apart, like a flood bursting through a dam. Even if an expert of the same level faced such power, they would have to avoid it. If they couldn't avoid it in time, they would be killed with one punch, let alone a student who had just entered the school. Xiaoping was no match for him at all. A cold light flashed in Xiaoping's eyes. Feeling this power, he didn't dodge at all. He took a step forward and his energy shook. His left hand pinched a flower and his right hand struck out. A golden light erupted from his body and covered his whole body. He was like a Buddha. Vaguely, the sound of Buddha's chanting could be heard in the void, causing the air to shake. Buddha's palm. This palm strike instantly bombarded Su Jianhua's fist. What's going on? Su Jianhua originally thought that his punch would be enough to easily defeat Xiaoping and beat him up like a dog. However, after coming into contact with this palm, he actually felt a violent power that was even stronger than his own. It was as if he was being hit by an angry Vajra's palm. It was extremely fierce. This palm also contained a strong mental power. The golden light flooded over, causing all kinds of strange phenomena in his sea of consciousness. It was as if he was a demon that was about to be subdued. With a bang, he couldn't bear this kind of power and retreated more than 10 meters. His eyes were incomparably shocked. Impossible. How is this possible? Su Jianhua's heart collapsed. He simply couldn't believe it. Even his fist was numb. Aren't you a piece of trash in the 5th heaven? How did you become so strong in just a few days? Even your strength is above mine. Impossible. How could such a ridiculous thing happen? His eyes were filled with extreme shock. The 5th heaven? That was a few days ago. Now, killing you is like killing a dog to me. Xiaoping's palm was like a Vajra Buddha. His palm was covered in golden light, and it was extremely heavy. It descended from the sky and crushed down. The surrounding air vibrated thousands of times and was pushed away like water, emitting ripples. The ground shook and sand and stones flew. It was a shocking scene. Boom! Su Jianhua was unable to block it at all. His fist was broken, and his entire body was unable to withstand this astonishing power. He was sent flying and let out a miserable shriek like a pig being slaughtered. Kacha! Kacha! He slid horizontally across the ground, creating a 100-meter-long ravine. Finally, he smashed into a rock that weighed several hundred tons, creating a human-shaped hole before he finally stopped. With a pu sound, he couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. 3 or 4 of his ribs were broken, and he was seriously injured. Ah! Su Jianhua struggled, his face contorted as he shouted, "I can't accept this. I can't accept this. He's just a little bastard. What medicine did he take to improve so quickly? Go! Kill him together. Kill him." He couldn't accept such a fact at all. He was also a third-year senior student of Yanhuang University, and he had only advanced to the Fighter Ninth Heaven Realm after 3 years of hard work. He was only one step away from breaking through to the Martial Master Realm and becoming an elite student of Yanhuang University. In this way, he would be the best among the students, and he could finally stand out. However, this kid had only been at Yanhuang University for a few days, and his strength had actually surpassed him. With 2 palms, he was beaten like a dog. How could he accept such a thing? This Xiaoping is too terrifying. In just a few days, he has advanced from the 5th Heaven Realm to the 7th Heaven Realm and opened 7 acupoints. This kind of thing is unheard of. He is already so powerful now. In the future, he will be promoted to the Martial Master Realm and become an elite student of Yanhuang University. That's a sure thing. In the future, we can only look up to him, and we are not even worthy to carry his shoes. Moreover, we have offended him and formed a death feud. If he is strong and becomes an elite student, it will be too easy for him to kill us. With just a word, we will have to die. This kid must die. We must not let him continue to grow. A group of senior students looked ferocious. They looked at each other and saw the killing intent in each other. A few days ago, he was just an ant that they could kill at will, and they did not take him seriously at all. However, a few days later, he actually grew to the existence of an existence that could kill them at will. This aptitude was terrible, which made them frightened and filled them with killing intent. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In an instant, 2 or 3 senior students rushed out immediately. They were proficient in the 3 talents fighting technique and cooperated with each other. Some were proficient in fist techniques, some were proficient in palm techniques, and some were proficient in leg techniques. It could be said that when the 3 of them joined forces, it was not as simple as 1 + 1. The combat power that erupted was extremely terrifying, and they could deal with 5 or 6 experts of the 9th Heaven Realm at the same time. Violent true chi gushed out of their bodies. Like jackals, they were extremely fast. They split into 3 different directions and pounced. Even if Xiaoping had 3 heads and 6 arms, he could at most resist 2 of them. As long as one could get close to Xiaoping, they could seriously injure this kid and smash his internal organs. The so-called 2 fists could not fight against 4 hands. Stupid. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. His mental strength spread out, and the whole heaven and earth with his body as the center formed a huge circle covering the surroundings. He could perceive everything around him clearly. He stood on 1 foot and stretched out a finger. His clothes fluttered without wind, and a faint shadow of a white crane appeared behind him. A piercingly cold sword essence gushed out. The 8th style of the Wansho fist, White Crane Slash. This was a move that was even more terrifying than the giant elephant axe. It was the move that the Wansho Immortal imitated the peerless sword god White Crane Demon King. It contained a trace of supreme sword truth. When this move was used, everything in the world could be used as a sword. It was indestructible. When cultivated to the extreme, a finger could be used to shoot down stars and tear the sky from thousands of miles away. In an instant, dozens of transparent sword chi immediately appeared in the air. When each sword chi blasted out, it seemed to have a Tao trajectory. It was extremely fast and broke through the sound barrier. These sword chi exploded around Xiaoping's body and blasted out in all directions. Oh no! The 3 seniors were shocked. They had goosebumps. They did not expect Xiaoping to have such a terrifying fist technique. This was more than 10 times more terrifying than ordinary sword truth cultivation method. This was a pure killing method. However, it was too late for them to dodge. The speed of these sword chi was too fast, and they were only a few meters away from Xiaoping. With such a fast speed and such a short distance, how could they dodge? Bang! Bang! In the next second, their chests, heads, and limbs were immediately pierced by the terrible sword chi. Immediately, dozens of bloody holes appeared, and blood flowed out. Chapter 336. No, no, no. Su Jianhua and others were dumbfounded. 3 more companions died tragically in the hands of Xiaoping. They felt as if their hearts were being squeezed by the big hand of the devil, and they could hardly breathe. It should be known that these 3 seniors were also first-class masters among them. They were very likely to be promoted to the martial master realm, but now they were also dead. They were killed by Xiaoping in one move and could not even get close to this kid. Son of a bitch, go to hell. You killed our people, I want your life. Go to hell. Such a beast can't live in this world. At this moment, 3 more seniors rushed up, some holding spears, some holding broadswords, and some holding long swords. All of them were masters who were proficient in all kinds of weapons. Someone stabbed at Xiaoping's head with a spear, and a cold light flashed in the night. The tip of the spear contained a penetrating force that could destroy anything. Even titanium alloy would be easily pierced by this spear. Someone slashed at Xiaoping's back with a knife from midair. It was powerful and heavy, as if it was going to split Mount Hua with a knife. It had the momentum of a tiger, roaring in the void, and even the earth seemed to be shaken by this knife. Someone slashed at Xiaoping's chest with a sword. It was extremely fast, like a small silver snake. The angle was tricky, and it was extremely ruthless. It exuded a terrible evil spirit that made people's hearts cold. This kid is dead. Su Jianhua sneered, his eyes vicious like a poisonous snake. The others also nodded, thinking that there was no accident. Because the 3 people seized the opportunity when Xiaoping killed the others with one move and instantly launched a sneak attack, wanting to end Xiaoping's life. It had to be said that the timing was really good. At this time, Xiaoping had just killed 3 seniors with one move. He must have consumed a lot of true qi. At this time, the old force had just been used up, and the new force had not been generated. In the face of the fierce attacks of the 3 people, how could this guy resist? There was no way to resist. Although 3 seniors in the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm sneak attacked a freshman at the same time, this kind of behavior was more or less despicable. But in order to kill this kid, despicable was nothing. Anyway, they were all enemies, and there was a great hatred between them. It was impossible for them to show mercy. Bang, bang, bang. Unsurprisingly, the 3 seniors' spears, blades, and swords all struck Xiaoping's body fiercely. The resulting shockwaves sent up a cloud of dust. With Xiaoping's body as the center, he was bombarded by a huge force. Immediately, a huge pit appeared, and cracks that looked like spider webs appeared. Die. Su Jianhua's eyes revealed a look of satisfaction. This brat was finally dead. He had killed 2 of his cousins, and even 5 or 6 of his companions had been killed by this brat. He did not know how angry he was in his heart. However, when he thought about how such a genius that would become a monstrous genius at the king realm in the future had finally perished at his hands, he couldn't help but feel a trace of satisfaction in his heart. He felt that he'd killed a king realm expert, and it was an honor that countless people didn't possess. Impossible. But when the smoke and dust dispersed, Su Jianhua and the others were all stunned. They saw that Xiaoping was still standing in the same place, alive. His head, chest, and back were not pierced. The broadsword, spear, and sword were all blocked by layers of thin innate qi shields. No matter how hard the 3 seniors tried, even if they used all their strength and their faces were flushed red, they couldn't break through this layer of defense. When these people attacked, Xiaoping immediately activated Dark North Body Protection Technique. His body was covered with a layer of innate qi defense, like a stream of water, constantly weakening the attack power of these 3 people. No matter how powerful these people's attacks were, they couldn't penetrate his defense. What kind of body protection technique is this? How can it be so strong that even weapons can't penetrate it? Su Jianhua and the others simply couldn't believe it. This kind of body protection technique probably couldn't even be done by a king-level technique. I'm afraid this is a technique even more terrifying than a king-level technique. But what kind of technique is it? They can't imagine, because this is already beyond their imagination. Kill! Xiaoping was not interested in explaining this to them. With a roar, the sound wave vibrated, and the word kill turned into a syllable, condensed in a substance, containing terrifying mental power. Heavenly Dragon ate music. This kind of sound wave is terrifying to the extreme. Promoted to the seventh heaven of the warrior realm, Xiaoping not only greatly increased the innate qi in his body, but even his mental power has increased a lot. The power of Heavenly Dragonate sounds is simply exponential. With a roar, even metal will be shattered, and the air will condense into substance, turning into waves. And these three seniors just attacked Xiaoping's body. There was no chance to dodge, and they were hit by this move. Bang, bang, bang. They let out miserable screams. Their internal organs, hearts, and heads were all shaken into powder, and blood flowed out of their eyes, noses, mouths, and other places. Even the long spear, broadsword, longsword, and other weapons in their hands were shaken into pieces of scrap iron, falling to the ground with a clatter, splashing dust on the ground. With a plop, the three of them fell to the ground one by one, already dead. Silence. The scene was silent. Seeing this scene, Su Jianhua and the other 5 seniors who were still alive were speechless. It was clearly a sneak attack by 3 experts of the 9th heaven of the warrior realm, but they couldn't kill this kid, and instead were killed by Xiaoping. Such a scene was too shocking, and they were so scared that they couldn't say anything. Have you thought about how to die? Xiaoping looked at Su Jianhua and the others indifferently. He would not let any of the people present go, and he had to kill all of them. Otherwise, if they escaped back to Yanhuang University, it would be big trouble. Run, run quickly. This kid is simply a monster. Damn it, this time we kicked an iron plate. Go back, let's go back now. I also know a lot of elite students, martial master realm experts. Find a few seniors. I don't believe that they can't deal with him, and then we can avenge our dead companions. Don't talk nonsense, run quickly. Seeing Xiaoping's condensed gaze, Su Jianhua and the others trembled all over. Seeing that Xiaoping killed most of their companions in a few breaths, they could no longer be arrogant. Instead, they were scared half to death, and they no longer had the courage to fight. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Su Jianhua rushed over, picked up the mysterious fruit and ran, and the others also quickly fled, displaying their extreme speed. Escape? Xiaoping clenched his fists, and a trace of joy welled up in his heart. Thinking about how arrogant they were in Yanhuang University, in public, they attacked as they pleased, bullied others, and did not put anyone in their eyes. But now they were fleeing like stray dogs. They didn't even have the courage to fight him. As the saying goes, the river flows east for 30 years, and the river flows west for 30 years. Chapter 337. Xiaoping stood in the same place and drew the bow. His mental strength penetrated into the moon, shooting bow, and integrated into it. When he advanced to the 7th heaven of the martial artist realm and reached the advanced martial artist realm, his mental strength had greatly increased. When he integrated his mental strength into the bow again, he could feel the profoundness of the bow. There were traces of unique lines and ancient inscriptions on the bow. It seemed to contain a mysterious power. It was because of this mysterious power that this bow was extraordinary and terrifying. Buzz, Xiaoping infused all the qi in his body into the bow. The qi in the 7 acupoints circulated and the entire bow trembled, emitting waves of silver light like the moonlight. Swish, swish, swish. In an instant, he shot out 4 arrows in succession. They tore through the air like silver light and shot towards the 4 seniors in front of him with terrifying power. Boom! Separated by 200 to 300 meters, the 4 seniors thought that they could escape from Xiaoping's attack range and escape with their lives. However, they suddenly heard a slight sound of something tearing through the air. In the next second, with a poochie sound, an arrow pierced through their throats. Blood dripped out. 4 arrows pierced through their throats and flew for a kilometer before finally being nailed to the mountain wall, causing gravel to fly everywhere. The 4 seniors covered their throats that were bleeding and their eyes were filled with endless horror. They wanted to say something, but couldn't because their necks were already leaking air. With a plop, they fell to the ground. Their eyes were wide open, revealing expressions of unwillingness, regret, and fear. They regretted so much that their intestines turned green. If they had known that Xiaoping was so terrifying, they would never have come to provoke him. However, it was all too late. Damn it, damn it. When Su Jianhua saw that the remaining 4 of his companions had been killed by Xiaoping, he immediately felt a chill in his body and rushed to the top of his head. He also regretted that he had actually provoked such a fierce god. But now, he didn't dare to stay at all. He desperately tried to escape from the valley. You should die too. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. He drew the bow and knocked an arrow, wanted to shoot Su Jianhua to death. Su Jianhua immediately felt as if there was a primordial fierce beast staring at his back. No matter how he ran, he couldn't escape. Rumble, at that moment, the ground outside the valley began to shake, and a large amount of gray mist surged out. The ground immediately froze, and a layer of white frost appeared. The temperature of the entire valley dropped by dozens of degrees. Then, terrifying king corpses rushed over. There were at least a few hundred of them. Each king corpses had the strength of the 9th heaven of the martial artist realm. In an instant, they surrounded the entire valley. There's hope. There's finally hope. Su Jianhua was immediately overjoyed. He knew that these corpse kings must have been attracted by the fragrance of the profound Yin fruit. If it was before, he felt that these corpse kings would be a huge problem. But now, with these corpse kings blocking Xiaoping, he had a chance to escape. Willow leaf steps. Su Jianhua immediately charged towards the corpse kings. His entire body was like a willow leaf fluttering in the wind. Even though the corpse kings were right in front of him, they couldn't hurt him at all. Whenever the corpse king's palm came, his body would dodge like a willow leaf. In just a few breaths of time, he had already run over 100 meters, weaving through the bodies of these corpse kings to escape. I can't aim. Xiaoping frowned. With these corpse kings blocking here, he couldn't lock on to Su Jianhua at all. He could only watch as Su Jianhua escaped. Haha, there's no other way. Seeing this scene, Su Jianhua was immediately overjoyed. His mood was extremely comfortable. With these corpse kings blocking, his opponent's terrifying archery skills couldn't be displayed. Although Xiaoping had killed all his companions this time, as long as he was still alive, he would definitely be able to take revenge. He wasn't even the slightest bit sad. Instead, he was a little secretly happy. The people around him were all dead, so this profound Yin fruit would be monopolized by him. This was a huge benefit. Perhaps from his point of view, he had to be grateful to Xiaoping for killing those people around him. This way, he wouldn't need to share a portion of this profound Yin fruit with others and could monopolize all the benefits. Don't worry, I will definitely help you take revenge. Su Jianhua clenched his fist, his eyes revealing a cold gleam. Once I advance to the martial master realm, I will immediately think of a way to kill this despicable Xiaoping and take his head as a sacrifice to your souls in heaven. He used the willow leaf steps to the extreme, skillfully passing through these corpse kings' bodies. No matter how the corpse kings attacked, they couldn't harm him at all. Don't even think of running. Xiaoping definitely wouldn't let Su Jianhua escape. If such a person escaped, who knew how much trouble it would bring? As the main culprit, Su Jianhua would definitely die. Bang! He put away the moon's shooting bow and stomped on the ground. In an instant, his feet created 2 huge, deep pits. Terrifying cracks appeared on the ground, extending for several kilometers. With a boom, Xiaoping's feet produced a huge explosive force. He flew out like a Cohen pump. 2 wings seemed to have grown on his back as he rode on the air currents to advance. In just an instant, he covered a distance of several hundred meters in an instant. How is this possible? Feeling the ground tremble, Su Jianhua couldn't help but look back. He was shocked to find that Xiaoping had covered a distance of several hundred meters in an instant and was directly tens of meters away from him. Roar! A large number of corpse kings on the ground felt this aura of life. All of them let out roars, and a deathly aura soared into the sky. Even the soil was dyed black, as if they had been deeply cursed. If ordinary people were to be attacked by this aura in this place, they would immediately be turned into zombies. Unmovable Buddha's palm. The swastika symbol seemed to flash in Xiaoping's eyes. His whole body was wrapped in golden true qi. Like a Buddha, he stretched out his palm and descended from the sky, slapping towards the ground. When the palm blasted out, it immediately formed a huge golden palm. The golden color exploded, and the sound of countless Buddhas chanting rang out in the void. It was solemn, sacred, and vast, like the Buddha of the past. These corpse kings all let out miserable screams, more miserable than pigs being slaughtered. Feeling the boundless Buddha's light, they felt as if they had been attacked by acid, and a large amount of white fog came out of their bodies. Dong! The palm slapped the ground fiercely. It was like the morning bell and evening drum, sweeping away all the haze. Hundreds of corpse kings immediately turned into ashes and were smashed into powder. The ground produced a terrifying tremor, and a rumbling sound was heard. Chapter 338. Is this guy a monster? Su Jianhua's eyes almost popped out. He was only at the seventh heaven of the martial warrior realm, but he was so terrifying. Even if he cultivated a cultivation method that could restrain dead creatures, he was not this powerful. With one palm, hundreds of king corpses were turned into ashes. It was too exaggerated. It was no wonder that the Su family's elders ordered him to kill Xiaoping at all costs. If such a person grew up, he would definitely be able to flatten the entire Su family. After going back, I must inform Big Brother immediately. Such a person cannot be left alive. I must eliminate him at all costs. Otherwise, the Su family will be in danger. Su Jianhua was determined. But in the next second, he was stunned because Xiaoping had already rushed over and appeared in front of him. A huge aura surged out and pressed down fiercely. It was as if Mount Tai was pressing down on him. He was so scared that he could not move. The surrounding king corpses were all afraid of the Buddhist light and fled. Their fear of death far exceeded their greed for the mysterious Yin fruit. They did not dare to stay in this dangerous place. Wait. Su Jianhua knelt on the ground and kowtowed desperately. Master Xia, spare me, spare my life. I was wrong. This time I was really wrong. I should not have done such a thing. I should not have attacked you. If you spare my life, I, Su Jianhua, could be your dog for the rest of my life. He kept kowtowing until blood flowed from his forehead, but he did not care at all. He was a dignified student of Yanhuang University, an expert at the ninth heaven of the martial warrior realm. He was only one step away from the martial master realm and becoming an elite student. Such a person, if returned to Earth, would be a general existence with authority. Even in a place like the Cloud Realm, he was an expert that could not be underestimated. Such a person could be called a proud son of heaven. But now, in order to live, he kowtowed to Xiaoping and wanted to be his dog. Xiaoping didn't say anything. He looked down at him from above, looking at him indifferently. Oh yes, you have offended my Su family and caused great trouble. If you have a spy like me in the Su family, you may be able to obtain a lot of information and be in an invincible position. You can even reconcile with the Su family through me. This is beneficial to both of us. If you want my treasures, I can give them to you. I can give them all to you. Su Jianhua continuously kowtowed and listed out many benefits, hoping that Xiaoping would spare his life. Suddenly, Su Jianhua, who was still kowtowing, revealed a trace of ruthlessness in his eyes. He instantly took out a sharp dagger and pounced forward like a jackal. He had calculated everything. Kowtowing and begging for mercy were just tricks. His real purpose was to use this kind of behavior to numb Xiaoping's nerves and make him relax a little. In his opinion, young geniuses like him were usually arrogant and conceited. No matter how cautious he was when he begged for mercy, there would always be a trace of hesitation in his heart. As long as there was a trace of hesitation, there would be an opportunity. He could take advantage of this gap to attack ruthlessly. With his strength of the ninth heaven of the martial artist realm, the success rate of assassination was almost 100% at such a close distance. As long as he killed Xiaoping, he would be able to live. This was a sure kill attack. There was no hesitation. If Xiaoping didn't die, then Su Jianhua would die. Stupid. There was no fluctuation in Xiaoping's eyes. Under his spiritual force, Su Jianhua's movements could not be hidden. No small movements could be hidden from his perception. He knew what he wanted to do. Even if he didn't know, it didn't matter. With his Northern Dark Body Protection technique, the strength was not too strong. It couldn't penetrate his true Qi layer. No matter how Su Jianhua attacked, he couldn't kill him. However, Su Jianhua didn't know this, which was doomed to his defeat. With a bang, he made a move in vain. A big hand slapped down from the air, like lightning, and the majestic, true Qi crushed down and enveloped Su Jianhua's body. Boom! Before Su Jianhua could pierce his heart with the dagger, his big hand slapped on the top of Su Jianhua's head. With a crack, the skull was broken and the 7 orifices were bleeding. Su Jianhua's eyes widened, and his pupils quickly showed the color of defeat. With a puff, he was slapped to the ground and died on the spot. Su Jianhua dead, and the seeking bird was immediately scared and flapped its wings and fled quickly. But Xiaoping did not chase it. Anyway, it was just a bird, and he didn't pay much attention to it. 10 minutes later, Xiaoping threw the corpses of Su Jianhua and the others into the valley. There would be countless zombies there. It was estimated that they would soon be devoured completely. Not even bones would be left. And the things on their bodies were also plundered by Xiaoping, and the profound Yin fruit was naturally in his hands. TSK, there are still geomagnetic mines on you? As expected of a senior student, he is really rich. Xiaoping found 7 or 8 geomagnetic mines from these people. If he wanted to exchange these geomagnetic mines in the school, he would need at least 7,000 or 8,000 points, but now they all belonged to him. Fortunately, he had killed all the senior students who had geomagnetic mines from the very beginning, and they had not had the chance to use them at all. Otherwise, if these geomagnetic mines had exploded, even he would have had a headache. This was like a trump card. Not only is it extremely lethal to the undead creatures, it is also the same for humans. I also found a lot of high-level Yin Qi beads. Xiaoping also found a large number of high-level Yin Qi beads from more than a dozen senior students, adding up to at least 200 or 300 beads worth 15,000 points. It is estimated that these are their gains in the Yin Corpse mountain range. However, the biggest harvest was still a mysterious Yin fruit. If I take this profound Yin fruit back and ask the school teacher to help me refine it, I can get at least 3 profound Yin pills, so I can quickly advance to the 9th heaven of the martial warrior realm. Xiaoping knew that Yinhuang University also has a similar service. As long as you pay enough points and take out the main medicine, you can ask a teacher who is proficient in alchemy to help, and the alchemy teacher will also prepare the auxiliary medicine, and so on. After all, it is really too wasteful to just take the profound Yin fruit. I didn't expect to get such a big harvest this time. I am really rich. Xiaoping is very satisfied. Just these Yin Qi beads alone can be taken out to get a lot of points in the school. Is someone coming? Xiaoping's eyes flashed. He seems to sense the sound of someone appearing nearby. He does not want to come into contact with anyone in this place. In case of any accidents, he immediately left. 3 days later, in a cave in the Yin Corpse mountain range, Xiaoping continued to cultivate in this place for 3 days, absorbing the energy of the high-level Yin Qi beads, constantly stabilizing his martial arts cultivation and strengthening the true Qi in his body. After absorbing the energy of 200 or 300 high-level Yin Qi beads, he finally reached the peak of the 7th heaven of the martial warrior realm. It is time to go back. Chapter 339. Unfortunately, the high-level Yin Qi beads energy is no longer of any use to me. Xiaoping left the cave, as if he was flying, and ran out of the Yin Corpse mountain range. His whole body was surging with true Qi, and like a super sports car, he was rampaging. Any zombie that dared to block him would be smashed into pieces. After a few days of cultivation, he constantly absorbed the energy of the high-level Yin Qi bead, transforming it into Qi and tempering his body. He finally raised his cultivation to the peak of the 7th sky of the warrior realm. However, Because he absorbed too much yin qi bead energy, his body developed a resistance to yin qi bead. No matter how much he absorbed, the high-level yin qi bead could not increase his qi. Fine, I'll give the rest of the high-level yin qi bead to the school and exchange them for points. In these 2 or 3 days, Xiaoping did not just cultivate. He also went around hunting corpse kings, entering the corpse king graveyard and plundering treasures. In the end, after a few days, he also obtained a large number of yin qi beads. There were high-level, middle-level, and low-level yin qi beads. Adding them all up, he obtained a total of 50,000 points. Finally left. After running for more than an hour, Xiaoping finally left the Yin Corpse mountain range. Feeling the fresh air of the outside world, as well as the bright sunshine and vitality, he immediately felt incomparably comfortable. This kind of place was where humans should stay. In a space like the Yin Corpse mountain range, the Yin Qi was too heavy and lifeless. It was simply not a place for humans to stay. Beep beep, suddenly, the smart watch on Xiaoping's hand rang. Someone was contacting him. He immediately opened it, and the figure of a person appeared. It was Feng Hetong. Big brother, have you left the Yin Corpse mountain range? We have already returned to the Yin Corpse city. Feng Hetong asked. In the past few days, they had used the communication device to contact each other. They had agreed to return to Yanhuang University in a few days, and now it was time. Xiaoping nodded. I've already left. You guys wait for me at the airport. With a snap, he hung up the communication device. 10 minutes later, he returned to the Yin Corpse city. He immediately saw Jiang Yaru, Chu Rong, Nangong Wu, and Feng Hetong waiting for him at the airport entrance. After a few days of training in the Yin Corpse mountain range, although Jiang Yaru and the others' qi cultivation did not increase, they were still at the third sky of the warrior realm. However, their essence, energy, and spirit had greatly changed. If they were like flowers in a greenhouse before, then they now had a trace of the embryonic form of elite warriors, emitting a fearsome aura. What do you think? How's the harvest these days? Xiaoping asked curiously. Jiang Yaru faintly smiled. Not too bad. After killing several hundred zombies, I also obtained 400 to 500 low-gradient energy beads. When I return to school, I should be able to exchange them for 400 to 500 points, which can be exchanged for some medicinal pills to aid my cultivation. For them, it was already a good harvest to be able to obtain hundreds of low-level yin qi beads. After all, they were only at the third heaven of the martial artist realm. If they wanted to deal with a monster at the level of the Zombie King, they did not know how far it was. For ordinary martial artists that entered the Evil Corpse mountain range, being able to preserve their lives was already not bad. Wanting to have a great harvest was also very difficult. Big brother, where are Su Jianhua and the others? Did they come looking for trouble with you? Feng Hetong asked in a low voice. Jiang Yaru and the others also looked at Xiaoping, very concerned about this point. I didn't see them. Maybe they were killed by some corpse king. Xiaoping said lightly. He did not intend to tell Feng Hetong and the others that he had killed Su Jianhua and the others. After all, the death of a group of Yanhuang University students was a big matter in the outside world. It would definitely be strictly investigated. This matter cannot be leaked at all. If one more person knew, it would increase the risk of it being leaked. Moreover, Jiang Yaru and the others knowing about this matter was useless. Instead, it would only add to their worries. If that's the case, then that's great. Jiang Yaru and the others immediately felt relieved. Once they returned to Yanhuang University, no matter how fierce Su Jianhua and the others were, they would not dare to make a move in the university. They would also be safe. Let's go back. Xiaoping waved his hand. They immediately entered the airport and boarded his private flying ship, the Radiant God, and then flew towards Yanhuang University. After a few hours, they finally arrived at Yanhuang University. Xiaoping, you're finally back. When Xiaoping and the others left Yanhuang University's airport, suddenly a delicate shout came out. It was like a thunderclap, causing the surrounding people to be shocked. Outside the airport, there appeared 20 beautiful women. Each of their beautiful eyes were filled with anger. They stared at Xiaoping, who was walking towards them, as if they wanted to eat him alive. and the leader of this group of women was Suji. In order to find Xia Ping's whereabouts, they constantly sent people to monitor Incorp City. The result was very smooth. After they received the news that Xia Ping had returned to Yanhuan University, they immediately rushed to the airport and blocked Xia Ping's way. Suji, isn't this the so-called #1 beauty among the freshmen? Suji? That's her. It's said that she was very famous during high school and became a campus idol. God knows how many men pursued her. She was ranked #1 on the list of beauties that she most wanted to date. Moreover, the number of votes she received was many times higher than the #1. Not only is she beautiful, but she's also very strong. She was ranked #2 in the freshman ranking competition. Now, she has even advanced to the 8th level of the fighter realm and will become a king realm expert in the future. But why does she look so angry right now? It seems like she has a belly full of fire. Could it be that she was abandoned by a man? T. Who would abandon such a beauty? Is that man blind? Holy shit, I know that man. He's Xia Ping, the #1 newcomer in this year's freshman ranking competition, the fake Xia Ping. Fake Xia Ping? How does this guy know Suji? According to my brain that has an IQ of 300, there must be something fishy going on. Seeing this scene, the surrounding students were all discussing it. They all looked at this scene with incomparable curiosity. Some people even began to take photos and upload them to the internet. Big brother, when did you have an affair with Suji? Your efficiency in picking up girls is too high. Feng Hetong was dumbstruck. Jiang Yaru and the others were also speechless. They didn't know when Xia Ping and Suji got involved. Xia Ping. Suji walked up and stared at Xia Ping. Her beautiful eyes were filled with killing intent. Do you think you can run away? The monk can run, but the temple can't. If you don't give me an explanation today, don't even think about leaving. Her tone was resolute and decisive. Yes, don't even think about running. You've already done such a shameless thing. Do you think this kind of thing can be let go? If you don't give us an explanation, we won't let you off. The group of girls glared at Xia Ping. They had never suffered such a big loss in their lives. If they didn't punish this perverted thief, they would have suffered for nothing. Chapter 340. Shameless thing? What kind of shameless thing is that? Really stupid, you still can't figure it out? How did you get into Yanhuan University? That's right. Looking at their angry faces, it's 100% because this Xia Ping did something wrong to them. Maybe he got in the car and ran away without paying. Bastard. This Xia Ping is definitely a bastard. So many women have been taken by him. Is he still human? Doesn't that mean Suji also fell into this kid's evil hands? Is there still justice in this world? How'd he do it? He definitely drugged them. Otherwise, how could these women agree? Xia Ping, bastard, I swear I will kill him. He actually dares to blaspheme my goddess. He wants to die. The entire Yanhuan University can't tolerate him. The surrounding students were all wailing. Each and every one of them were glaring at Xia Ping. They simply couldn't suppress the anger in their hearts. Thinking that even their goddess Suji was eaten clean by this bastard, they wanted to go crazy. This kind of thing was really hard to accept. Jiang Yaru and the others were stunned. They were very clear of Xia Ping's character. He is not a man who would do such a thing. But what's with these women's anger? I didn't expect you to be so persistent. It's just a small matter. Why are you so persistent? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows, faintly looking at Suji and the others. He could see with a glance that this group of women did not have good intentions. It must be known that for women, being peeped on is a shameful thing. Ordinary people are not willing to make it public. If they want to deal with it, they will deal with it in a low-key way, secretly. But they're so high-profile, blocking his way in front of so many people. No matter how you look at it, these women's motive is actually not simple. Small matter? Hearing this, Suji was so angry that she laughed. For you, it's a small matter, but for us, it's a big matter. Don't think you can easily get away with it. The other women also stared at Xia Ping, being seen by another man. This kind of thing for these virgin girls is simply a disgrace. They can't just let it go like this. All right, I was indeed in the wrong on this matter. Xia Ping rolled his eyes and put forward his own suggestion. Say, How much money do you want? If you can solve it with money, then it can't be better. Don't bother me in the future. He had a look of wealth on his face. As soon as these words came out, the surrounding people instantly went into an uproar. Everyone was shocked. Shameless. He has committed such a heinous crime, and this bastard still wants to solve it with money. Absurd to the extreme. Does this bastard think that everything in this world can be solved with money? You're looking down on me. Although money is very useful, it is not omnipotent. You have harmed so many innocent women. You want to use money to shut these women's mouths. How could you do such a thing? I've long heard that this trash Xiaoping's family is very rich. He bribed the school's leader and went through the back door to become the new student's #1. He even bought a private spaceship. For this kid, money is simply a number, it's nothing. But I didn't expect this bastard's arrogance to be beyond our imagination. He wants to use money to settle it. This bastard is probably used to bullying men and taking women. He thinks that any woman can be settled with money. That's why he said such words. It's easy to imagine how bad this kid's character is. He's definitely a playboy. If placed in ancient times, he would be the last king of a generation, an incapable ruler, a prodigal son who buried the dynasty. The surrounding students all cursed and angrily glared at Xiaoping. Even if you beat them to death, they never thought that this Xiaoping was actually such a person. He's too hateful, too arrogant. You. Suji angrily glared at Xiaoping. She never thought that Xiaoping would say such words. Thinking about who she is the direct descendant of a dignified king's family, the new student's second strongest, a peerless beauty of her generation. As long as she casually beckons with her finger, a bunch of people will give her money. She doesn't even need to return it. When it comes to assets, Suji, has never been afraid of anyone. But this bastard is extremely arrogant. He actually wants to use money to settle this matter. It's like a street beggar throwing money at Jack Ma's face. He's looking down on people too much. Does he think Suji, am a beggar? You guys came to the airport to block me and mobilized a large number of people. Isn't it nothing more than money? Xiaoping revealed a rich and overbearing look and said, I, Xiaoping, may not have much, but I have a lot of money. How much do you want? Just say the number, and I'll immediately transfer the money. The efficiency is good. Of course, the amount of money can't be too excessive. After all, a person must know when to stop and when to stop. This is the common sense of society. I hope you understand. He stood with his hands behind his back, looking at these women. I'm so angry. This man is so infuriating. In my life, this is the first time I see a man who wants to beat him up. Scumbag to the extreme, shameless to the extreme. How could such a man live peacefully until now? Strike him to death. Why doesn't God send down a thunderbolt to strike him to death? Who do you think we are? Women who can do anything for money? He said to stop before going too far. This bastard is not only shameless, but also stingy. If we really offer a high price, maybe he won't admit it. Instead, he will slander us for being greedy and taking advantage of everything. Everyone, don't stop me. If I don't cripple this bastard today, my future husband will be a naked man for the rest of his life. Hearing Xiaoping's words, the other women were angered half to death. Their lungs were almost about to explode. Their faces turned red. Although they have their own calculations, they didn't expect Xiaoping to say such words. One must know that although their family can't be compared to Suji's king's family, they can also be regarded as an aristocratic family. Their assets are more than 100 billion. If they want money, they can go to the bank. From childhood to adulthood, they have never been troubled by money. But this shameless Xiaoping actually treated them as money-hungry shrews. They came to the airport to cause trouble for money. He looked down on them too much. Jiang Yaru, Nangong Wu, and Chu Rong's mouth twitched. Although they knew in their hearts that Xiaoping was definitely acting, hearing these words, they also wanted to hammer him. It was too infuriating. Of course, what I mean is not that money can solve all the problems. Xiaoping said with a smile, but if money can solve this problem, then it couldn't be better. It's good for everyone. Shut up. Suji couldn't take it anymore. Her face turned red with anger. Her beauty was moving, and her figure was enchanting. Chapter 341. Seeing Su Ji's action, Xiaoping's eyes revealed a glimmer of light. He stepped out and struck a palm in the air. Bang! A huge force bombarded the palm. The two collided with each other, and the ground was immediately blasted into a huge hole. Gravel splashed everywhere, and a crack appeared. What? Su Ji was surprised. She felt that her fist seemed to have no effect on Xiaoping. When she resisted the other's palm, her strength was constantly weakened, as if she was hitting cotton. She couldn't even make this kid take half a step back. This guy has become stronger. Su Ji immediately felt that Xiaoping's aura was completely different from last time. It seemed to have become more powerful. Even if she was a level higher than him, she had no chance of winning. Is that enough? Xiaoping looked at Su Ji with a smile and said, "If you want to use your fist to solve the problem, I will accompany you to the end." You. Su Ji took a deep look at Xiaoping. She was very unwilling, but she also knew that continuing like this would not give her any advantage. She coldly snorted, "This time you are lucky, but don't think that you can continue to be proud." After dropping this sentence, she turned and left. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Seeing this, the other girls also angrily stared at Xiaoping. All of them were very unwilling, but seeing that Su Ji had left, they also had to leave. It can't be. After making such a big fuss, it's over? How is this possible? I think this matter will be solved privately. But it's really incredible that the fake Xiaoping actually tarnished the #1 beauty Su Ji. This matter will definitely shake the entire Yanhuang University. I don't know how many people will go crazy. It has already been shaken. Now the internet is full of scolding. Those Su Ji fans all said that they must find Xiaoping to settle the account. They won't stop until the fake Xiaoping is beaten into a pig's head. It is said that the real #1 expert among the freshmen, Xiao Yishuan, is also Su Ji's pursuer. If he knows about this, he won't go crazy, right? In short, this kid will definitely not have a good end. It is estimated that he will become a mouse that everyone in Yanhuang University wants to beat. I don't know how long he can stay in Yanhuang University. The surrounding students discussed animatedly. They all looked at Xiaoping with schadenfreude, thinking that this kid had angered the public. They reckoned that he wouldn't be able to stay in Yanhuang University for long and would definitely be punished miserably. Let's go to the academic affairs office. Xiaoping couldn't be bothered to care about what the others thought. He immediately left. Jiang Yaru and the others also nodded and followed along. Because the administration office was the place responsible for handing over missions, they had obtained a lot of energy beads and needed to go to the administration office to exchange them for points. At this time, in a luxurious villa in Yanhuang University, Su Ji's residence. At this time, a group of women returned from the airport, but now, all of them were angry. That bastard called Xiaoping is too hateful. That's right. I've never seen such a despicable scumbag before. He actually wanted to bribe us with money and shut our mouths. He's simply crazy about this. What does that bastard think we are? He thinks that we'll forget this matter just by casually throwing a few dollars at us. What a joke, he's too self-righteous. Sure enough, he's a country bumpkin from Yanhuang Planet. He's used to being arrogant and despotic in Yanhuang Planet. He thinks that in the cloud world, it'll be like his family's territory, where he can do whatever he wants. If we don't teach that bastard a lesson, we won't be able to vent our anger at all. One by one, the girls grimaced and their beautiful eyes spewed fire. They were choked with anger by Xiaoping's words. It was estimated that they had never been so angry in their lives. It was simply unheard of, unseen. When ordinary men saw them, which one of them didn't come forward to curry favor, flatter, and be careful, for fear that they would be unhappy. But that kid was different. He wanted to use money to knock them unconscious. He was extremely domineering. Who do you think they were? Nightingales from the filthy land? Someone who could get on the bus just by paying money. It doesn't matter. After today's incident, that kid will definitely not have a good time. A girl wearing black-rimmed glasses said in a deep voice. Her glasses flashed with a strange light. Indeed, a tall girl also nodded. Before, Some of the men who dared to approach Sister Sue were beaten half to death by a group of suitors. I don't know how miserable they were. Now that there's such a big scandal, it's estimated that this Xia Ping will be torn apart by those angry suitors. She had seen this kind of thing countless times. Some boys tried to pursue Su Ji, but before they could say a few words, they were caught by a group of fans, dragged to a remote alley, and beaten until they were beyond recognition. Even their mothers couldn't recognize them. Just a few words are already so serious. Now that there's such a big scandal, how could Xia Ping get any better? It was estimated that it would be difficult for him to stay in Yinhuang University. In fact, they deliberately stopped Xia Ping at the airport in order to expose this matter and let Su Ji suitors teach Xia Ping a hard lesson. Now it seemed that this plan was extraordinarily smooth. There was no need for them to say anything. That kid automatically jumped into the trap. It was clear that he was courting death. Humph, he deserves such an end. If such a perverted thief continues to stay in Yinhuang University, I don't know how many girls will fall into his hands. He probably treats Yinhuang University as a place for those fireworks and willows. Indeed, according to that bastard character, I don't know how many girls have been defiled in the past. Although we don't care about money, some girls do. Maybe they will fall into that bastard's trap. Yeah, although that bastard's means are very despicable, simple, and crude, I have to say that it's very effective. With money, there will always be some girls who will fall into his hands. There's no other way. Most girls are clean, but some are shameless. But we don't need to worry about it in the future. After a while, I guess we can see that bastard begging for mercy. Humph, we can't let him go so easily. If we don't completely change his bad character, we absolutely can't forgive him. Otherwise, we don't know how much trouble he will cause in the future. Hee, I can't wait to see the scene of that arrogant bastard begging for mercy. Let's see if he still dares to say that he wants to solve it with money. If he still dares to say such words, I'll kick his third leg so that he can't even speak. Many of the girls discussed. Imagining that arrogant bastard begging them for mercy, they felt extremely comfortable.